ultimate purpose is not survival. It's finding purpose in what you love. I'm pumped to be branching out and being like, hey, we're going to sit down and have a couple-hour podcast. Is it?
Is it, dude?
Jesus Christ.
You just like talked for 5 minutes. I'm like, is it though? I've always been inspired by this shit.
Yeah. Dude, that pizza was so greasy.
It was disgusting.
It was not disgusting.
Disgusting.
Good times, Noodle Salad.
Fuck yeah. So we got a new theme song.
Oh, do you like it that much that you want to use it?
We're gonna use it.
Hell yeah! I'm
Yeah,
glad you
we're
like
gonna
it.
use it. Yeah, fucking. The old one was fine,
Yeah,
but we also like.
I just threw that together. Like I
Well,
wasn't really trying.
We fucked it up, like
Yeah.
because you had an idea of a song like already written, and then we were like, let's work on this backwards. Let's start from the finished product and undo everything.
Yeah.
That you had done, so that we could make an upbeat, fucking happy, fun theme song. But
Right.
I don't know if that pack's gonna burn well, or if it's just gonna like melt, or maybe it'll float towards me while it's on fire.
Yeah. I mean, it was fun, but there's a couple things I didn't like about it. Were primarily like the beat's okay, but the piano is like weird. It was originally like a jazzy piano track with like a cool bass line, but like then we wanted to make it more fun, and so we made it more fun. But then in doing so, the piano then sounded like out of place.
Yeah.
So I tried to modify the piano. We really should just start from scratch. So the one that I recently did is kind of video gamey. I don't know. I kind of like it. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. It's got some clips from a couple of our episodes. Relatively funny clips.
Yeah.
They're funny to us. So even if even if they're not funny to anyone else and no one really gets it, you'd have to watch the episodes to get it, I guess. So that makes it actually even better, because if you really want to understand why those are so funny, you'd have to watch those episodes. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, I had a good time making that one.
Yeah.
The second one that I made, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. It was just like kind of ethereal and too like emotional. Not emotional, but like, I don't know, it was weird.
It was too serious.
Too serious, that's the right word. And then like, so then I was like, all right, screw it. I wasn't going to even touch it. I was like, screw it, I'm not doing it. We're keeping it in the old one.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what though? I was going through some new sound effects that I downloaded, right? Or some new like basically synths, you know? And there was one that sounded like Sonic, like, you know, the chords in like the Sonic, like the first level. You know what I'm talking about? Like the dun, 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 dun. It sounded just like that. So I was like, I'm using that. And then it inspired me to make this like video game-esque track. Thank God I continued, because I'm really happy with. I mean, it's cool. It's fun.
I like it. Yeah. When I first listened to it, I was like, this is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Like I liked it a lot. It reminds me of Mega Man, you know? Like
That's exactly what I was going for, dude.
Like
That's
Sonic
what I was.
or
Yeah.
something.
That's
you know,
exactly what I was trying.
Like the Super Nintendo days
Yeah.
before like the late Super Nintendo days, like the late 90s.
Yeah.
I was like, this is fucking funny. This is
Hell
sweet.
yeah.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I like it a lot better than our old one.
Yeah.
I do, like, I am going to kind of miss having the Jack Nicholson quote in there, like where the fucking whole idea for this, where the idea for the name of this podcast came from. I am going to miss that a little bit, but no, it's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I layered some vocals at the end because I still wanted to say the name of the podcast in it.
Well, even that sounded like video game. It was like,
There's a good times Noodle Salad.
It almost reminds me of like maybe like an intro of like an anime kid show or something.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was going for. I was like, I want it to be fun because I mean, like, really, our logos are pretty much cartoony, and we're characters and we're cartoony in ways too. So. Yeah. You know, we don't want a pretentious podcast because we're really not pretentious people. Like, sometimes we talk too confidently about things that we don't know enough about, and I have...
We?
Huh?
We?
Definitely we. We have the conversation about that. You and I do that all the time.
Yeah.
So, for sure, yes.
Yeah. I'm trying to, like, get into a spot. Like, I want to chill.
I want to not be smoked out.
Stop. It's fine.
I'm kidding. I'm good.
It's fine. Ooh.
My eyes are just
burning.
burning.
Unclicked my fucking mic. God, I'm falling apart. I want to get
Would that be crazy if
comfortable.
you didn't know and we just do an hour and you're like...
That'd suck.
I would definitely notice, though.
Yeah. Yeah, we're outside fucking... It was raining this morning. And I got set up, but I was like, I want to sit outside again, man. Like, recording outside felt good, so...
Yeah.
I got to set up under the tent. We got a fire going. Fucking... That aluminum. I just threw a pack of backwoods cigars away, and the aluminum is on fire, and it's blowing up against the log. As soon as it gets past that log, it's gonna be on me.
I'm gonna try something.
Is that gonna help get the
anything,
smoke away
anything,
from you?
anything. I'm gonna try anything at this point.
I'm enjoying the smoke.
The smoke's fine, but it's going directly behind my glasses.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's actually helping. Yeah. It only takes a little bit, dude.
It worked. Whatever works.
Yeah. So yeah, what's new? Anything going on that you want to talk about?
I mean, there's always new stuff going on. We looked at a few houses. That's exciting.
Yeah, that's sweet.
I want to be able to like sit back, but like, is that gonna be weird to like?
It's gonna probably look weird on camera.
To like sit back. No, that's actually better. I think I can chill a little bit. I'm not because
Yeah.
I always have like this neck forward posture, and I'm trying to work on.
Yeah, you
that.
look a little serious sometimes.
Yeah.
Like you're like on the last one we did. You when you try to maintain your posture too well, you get like I can tell you're focused on it a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know.
I have a habit of
assumption there, but
I have a habit of having my neck forward, like fucking Bernie Sanders. So I'm trying to work on that.
yeah, I do that too because
Because you want to be able to see your dick past your belly.
Yeah,
that's my.
I would have to
that's my
decapitate
reason.
myself. I have to shove my head into my pussy to see it.
I did not expect that at all. That's my reasoning. Is, oh man, people are always, oh, what's the last time you saw your dick? Like it's like a fucking joke that everyone says to a fat guy, and I've never understood that. I'm like, that's not even funny. Like I've always been able to see it. Turns out it's because my head is in the center of my chest most of the time. It's like so far forward. Like of course I could see it. We looked at a few houses.
Yeah.
Dude, it's shopping for a house is stressful, man.
Yeah.
It's stressful. Because, like, we have these... Dude, you want to switch sides?
It's not going to help.
Maybe take your glasses off.
You think
need
that's
your
making it
glasses?
worse?
You don't even wear your glasses 90% of the time.
I know I wear them because when I drive, I wear them because I'm getting to that age. Fuck.
Yeah.
I wonder if I should just turn a little bit. Would that be weird?
If you do whatever you got to do to get comfortable. It's fucking...
I think just a little bit. I'm good now.
It's hilarious.
Like it's in my nose, so now my nose is running. All right. Anyway,
You're a fucking mess.
I'm good, dude. I'm good.
We're shopping for houses, and we looked at houses that are like... Are you serious?
All right. Anyway, you looked at houses.
We looked at a house that... We looked at 3 houses all at once.
Yeah.
And the houses were pretty close to the top of our budget. And they were 2 of the houses were weird as fuck. There was one house that was there was a 3-bedroom tri-level.
Yeah.
The tri-level had a family room, a living room, and then it had 3 bedrooms upstairs. But then if you went down into the family room, there was stairs that went up to the garage. It was like a hallway that led from the garage to the inside of the house. They built an addition where there was like an apartment off the back side. So if you went down into the living room, back up the stairs, and then where the man door is that goes into the garage, if you turned the other way, there was a man door.
Was that the like the mother-in-law suite?
It goes into a mother-in-law suite
that's
where it was like a
cool.
studio apartment.
If you guys get a house like that, I'll pay you rent. I'll live back there.
Yeah, that house was too fucking weird. We're not gonna buy that house.
I'm kidding.
And then we looked at a house that was in like an HOA neighborhood, and we were like, this is weird. Like our neighbor would the back of our patio door to the back of our neighbor's patio door was literally like 35 feet. I'm like, that is like that. I'm like, fuck that, dude. To pay this much money for a house where our neighbor can like our dog would have no room to run.
Yeah.
We'd have to put him on a lead because there's no gates in that HOA and whatever.
HOAs are a pain in the ass anyway. There's no one I know that lives in them that likes them for the most part.
Yeah.
It's really not.
I don't like it. But then again, you go through, like, we walk through our neighborhood here and we're like, man,
yeah.
Sometimes the HOA is worth it because then you don't have some guy with like fucking 75 Trump flags that like line his whole property.
Yeah.
Which is like, dude, come on, like, grow up.
Right.
You know,
right.
But.
Did you ever see that house on 20 by me on Romeo Plank Road that has the Wu-Tang Forever?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like a little political
Yeah,
sign.
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
Wu-Tang is forever.
I'm like, that's so weird to see out by me.
I love it. You know what's funny? I just texted my buddy Tom because he's a huge hip-hop head. There's a New York sanctioned Wu-Tang district on Staten Island. Like, there's an actual Wu-Tang district.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's cool as fuck. What the fuck is happening?
Nothing, man. I'm good. We're good. It's gonna be like this. So we're just gonna.
You look like I'm making you upset. You look like I'm breaking up with you right now. If we were at a restaurant sitting at this table, people would be like, "Oh, that guy in the flannel's breaking the news." It looked like I just broke up with you.
The glasses actually were helping.
Were they? Do you want goggles?
I'm gonna need something.
You want a fucking welding hood?
I'm just gonna put my
Dude,
hoodie up.
it's, your whole face is engulfed. I'm gonna tape a rack of ribs to your face.
Slow smoked.
We got the fire going right beside our table, and it's just smoking Chris out. I'd rather be on me. I don't even mind it.
I don't like it in my eyes.
You're over there crying. Your eyes are changing colors. The edges of your eyelids are all pink.
Yeah, they're my body's telling me no, dude.
Jesus.
It's saying we don't like this.
Yeah, once everything's hot and like going, it'll be less smoky, I think. Throw something small on there to get, because none of it's really flame burning right now.
It's not going to. It's just a log on there.
No, I know. Put that small one on there.
The small log?
The smaller one, yeah. See if that'll.
Throw that like.
Well, throw it like maybe.
Oh.
As soon as you leaned down, it was like rah, rah, rah. It was like.
God damn, dude. I like fires normally. Yours suck.
My fire sucks. You're gonna tip the whole thing over.
I want to do that.
Yeah, maybe don't do this.
Let's see how that goes. All right.
Try to put a log on top of it
I
from
almost blacked out because between the smoke
and you leaning.
and me leaning and not being able to breathe.
Hold on, let me go get some like small shit to put on there so that the fire like gets hot instead of, because it's like embers right now. That's why it's so smoky.
I think it's just that log. That log's smoking a lot, but we knew it was going to. Put it on the far. Would it work on the far side, or does it not matter? I don't know. Like, is there a way to build a fire? Opa. Oof. Move that little guy. That little guy's the one. That's the culprit. That's the guy that's smoking me out. That little tiny charcoal. Wow. That's going to be a blaze. We're not going to have to worry about smoke because
We're gonna be on fire.
we're going to just be on fire. Oh my God, dude, that's going up quick.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
Well, it's all
no.
dry. I got it under a tarp, so we're gonna be good now.
All right,
Once it's burning hot,
let's hurry up and get this in before the mics melt. So,
dude. It's fine. Oh, that's so much more smoke than before. I might have fucked up. It's fine. If it gets hot
I'm gonna
enough,
have to wear I'm gonna have to wear my hood for a little bit, just till that smoke dies down.
you have an aura of smoke.
I can feel it.
You look like you just.
Every time I breathe in,
It
it's
looks like you just left the gym in the wintertime and you have that like haze of fucking steam coming off you.
Oh,
you
like
know?
in the car when it's
Yeah.
cold. Yeah.
That's what you look like right now. Once that goes up, it'll be.
That's my favorite. Leaving the gym in the winter, and you go outside and you're just steaming. That's cool. You go in the car and like everything fogs up, and you're like, "Holy cow!" Dude, it's not even that. It's like actually pretty warm out, and I was steaming up my car because I was like trying to rush to get everything done before I came over because it was kind of last minute that we decided to do this.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to clean my house. I need to take a shower. I need to shave. I need to cut my hair. I need a whatever.
Yeah.
I need to get the podcast shit together.
Yep. Yeah, we haven't been
So I
using-
did like 1,000 things, and I literally walked out the door, and within 20 minutes I did everything except for like I had some dishes I wanted to do, and I was like, forget it. I'll do it when I get back.
Yeah.
But
This is hilarious.
so like I was just burning up, like rushing around, like oh, my big fat ass just. Plus I haven't like been doing like super active in like a few weeks, so like I mean other than like occasionally going to the gym, and I just started I had a new company.
Yeah. Dude, so we had those Keweenaw Red Ridge beers
Yeah.
last week, And I was trying to find them. I couldn't find them, but I ended up finding these Sheboygan Brewing Company Blood Orange Honey beers that are a similar
That sounds good.
taste. The Sheboygan beers are good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a blood orange honey. It's like I think it's a blonde,
Oh my god.
but whatever.
It's just like collecting my hoodie at this point.
Yeah, what? Oh my god. Whew. Do you want to help me scoot that back all the way to like where the where the lid is that we have to like reflect the heat over here? Will that help if we scoot it back? I want the heat though. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, we're gonna. It's like one. You have to pick or choose your battles. I think, and I think right now we have no choice. I mean, maybe if we put that plastic thing here, because I don't think that's.
is that what you want? It's reflecting the heat over here for sure, but we'll put it over by you.
I don't know if that'll help. I'll try.
Put it over. Put it over by you. This is gonna. I also can't believe you're wearing a Jordan hoodie. That's really blowing my mind. It's so odd for me. Also, your pants are below your butt cheeks. Your asshole for sure is out.
Oh, that's hot.
Weird.
It's gonna melt like that, dude.
It's not melting though.
That's a ton of heat, dude. That's so hot.
Yeah. I wouldn't put it there. You got to do some. You got to do something. You got to. My God, dude, this is so stupid. Do you want me to just bring a fan that'll blow the smoke away from you? Like I'll put it on like 1 and just like blow it past your head. It's not. It's literally where your head is. It's just nothing but smoke. This is the stupidest fucking. Do you want me to get a fan?
Yeah.
You want me to get a fan and then blow?
Yeah. Put a fan, like just right here.
But
and just blow it up.
the fire was for the heat, and now we're gonna be like,
It'll still get hot, dude. That fan's not gonna remove the heat.
yeah.
But I am gonna put that back there because that was working.
It was working. All right, let me go get a fan. Hey, you're gonna have to move that board. That's gonna catch on fire, and it's not in the fire pit.
What?
The board that you tipped over there. Let me go get a fan. Jesus Christ! What a chaotic and annoying beginning of this episode.
Fine. We can start over.
Stuck.
Yeah, just plug it and blow it right there. That should be all right. That should help.
Well, you got to put the headphones on and let me know how loud it is.
I don't think it's gonna be loud. It's outside. I'll let you know though. Yeah, buddy.
Can you hear it in the headphones?
No, I don't think so. It's hard to tell. I hear it, but I think I hear it.
Let me turn your sensitivity up. Tell me if you hear it.
Yeah, a little.
Are you serious? It's not even working.
Huh?
Here, let me do that. Well, it's not even bothering me. I'll just keep it on you.
Or just put it right in the middle. That way, just because it's gonna expand outward. So if you just put it in the middle and blow it this way, not even at us. You know what I'm saying? It should spread out by the time and kind of help guide the smoke.
Can you hear it? Is it?
I hear it, but I hear it. Shut it off. Nope. You know what I was hearing? I was just hearing the wind, the natural wind.
Is that even working?
You can probably move it closer. It's not going to pick up on the mics.
It is though.
Not much.
I'm just putting it. I'm pointing it right at you. It does not. The wind.
I don't even think it's working.
It has to.
We'll try it. We'll try it out. 20 minutes, half of that being trying to figure this out. All right. We need the warmth because it's cold out, but we don't need the smoke because we got to be able to see and breathe.
Yeah. Whatever. I feel good. We got a fire going. We're sitting outside instead of in a dingy fucking studio where
Yeah.
everything's dark.
Yeah, it feels good.
I like it.
I like outdoor podcasting. It's fun. I like the studio because I like the coloring and like when we can throw some lights on and shit. It's kind of fun. But so what the hell were we talking about? I don't even know. You were talking about houses and what you didn't like. You didn't like them.
Well, so we were looking
because
at
of like the weird
we
walkway.
were looking
and
at the
stairs.
house. We looked at 3 houses that were pretty close to our max budget.
Yeah.
And when you get that high up in price,
Yeah.
mentally for me, I get to the point where I'm like, it has to be perfect, otherwise I'm not doing this.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
And like, me and Paige make good money, but we're not rich by
Right.
any means, so it's like if we're going to get that close to our absolute max budget, it has to be walk in and it's perfect, you
Yeah.
know. And so that's the thing is like we looked at a lake house.
Yeah.
We looked at a lake
because I feel like they're going to be in the shot.
They are in the shop, but it's just beer. Gives a fuck. I mean, put them wherever's
Well,
comfortable.
I mean, I don't know if that's going to be distracting.
Not any more distracting than you bringing it up.
Well,
I'm just kidding. Whatever.
If I bring it up,
So
I bring it up once.
No, there's a tornado. Now that we got the smoke figured out, there's a tornado. So we looked at a lake house, and lake house was pretty cheap for a lake house, but it was expensive for us, and that's the thing.
Right.
So we look at it and we're like, dude, like with the taxes and the price of the house, it's like we're gonna be basically just living to have our house. We're not gonna have any freedom to do anything else.
Right.
So we went to the far other end of the spectrum, and we're looking at a house that's very cheap, but bare minimally what we need,
Yeah.
which is like 4 bedrooms, but it's very cheap.
Yeah.
It's going to be half the price of what we pay here. Our mortgage is going to be half. Of
Is this new?
Yeah, this is a new
Oh,
thing,
okay. So
yeah.
I don't know anything about.
We're going
this
to look
yet.
at it. We're going to walk it Monday.
Is it in the same area as the other one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
It's in the same area, so it'll be easy.
So do they have like a
It'll be easy on
extra
the kids.
basement, like or a bedroom in a basement kind of thing? Is it
Yes.
that? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the way to go, man.
That's the way to go. So it's listed as a 4-bedroom, but I think it's really a 3-bedroom house with a fourth
in the basement.
And the basement has like a living room, they called it.
Yeah.
But it's like they framed the mechanical stuff. They framed away the mechanical stuff, so all like the laundry and the furnace and the hot water tanks all in like framed into one room, and then
There's
like
open
a
area.
carpeted living area,
Yeah, and
living
then a
room area,
bedroom.
and then a bedroom off the side.
That's sweet.
But there's water damage in the bedroom in the basement,
Oh.
so but the house is less than half of what we were.
Did you already see it?
No.
Oh.
We're going to look at it.
No, we just check for mold.
The
and
house
make sure
is-
the carpeting's not. I'll just because if the carpeting's destroyed, well, then you got to rip all that up. That's a nightmare. I had to do that at the house, my last house that I had. It's crazy because I got. Well, I don't know if we want to go off on a tangent yet. I mean, you want to continue on with?
Fuck.
Do you want to go on? I mean, you want to change? You want to talk about?
It's less than.
You want?
Is it?
Is it though?
This house that we're looking at is less than half the price of the lake house.
Yeah. Right.
Less than half.
It should be, but that's awesome. That sounds affordable, and that's something you should do.
Well, so that's
If it's
see,
like
this is the
even
selling
okay,
point.
so even if I'm gonna just say this, even if there's water damage in the basement, say even you have to waterproof that basement, that's gonna cost what, 20 grand, 10 grand, 20 grand, maybe max.
No,
not
that much.
No?
That's
Well, it depends on what they have to do. Because I've been at places, I've rented at a place where they decided to waterproof the basement because there's a bunch of valuables, their own valuables in the basement. Because I didn't have enough, like it was fine because I didn't use it, but they had it waterproof while I lived there, and I think it cost them like 10 or 15 grand. But
Yeah.
they had to do every wall.
This house was
So-
already the basement is already finished.
Yeah.
So if there's a leak somewhere in the foundation, we just have to find the leak, fix that, and maybe at the most put in a sump.
Right.
I mean, that would be expensive, but I doubt it's going to be that extensive. It's just
Right.
there's some water damage.
But I'm saying even if I'm saying worst, my point was
worst case scenario.
Yeah, worst case
it costs
scenario,
us
10-15 grand comparatively to
double
something
the
double
price.
the price, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. But that's the thing we talked about is like, okay, if we move into a house that's less than half the price of what we were going to move into this house that's perfect,
yeah.
which that house wasn't even perfect. Then it gives us freedom to do stuff outside of our house, and that's huge to me.
Right.
To finally be making good money after a decade of struggling, and
Yeah.
now I'm at like 6 figures where it's like, dude, I can relax.
Right.
I don't want to buy something that's at the max of what I could afford. It doesn't
Right.
make any sense.
I know I don't. Well, I have done it, and look where I ended up.
yeah.
Where I ended up, work got really slow. I was, close to being laid off. You know what I'm saying? You got to think of those things too. Well, it's a little different for you because your situations are a little bit more. I don't know how to express it without being divulging too much, but it's easier for you to be laid off in your trade than me. Like
Yeah.
I don't get. I'll just say this. I don't get compensated anything for it.
Yeah.
Except for by the state, right?
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah, in my local, you get unemployment and sub pay
Right.
if the sub pay is open.
yeah,
But and if the sub pay is not open,
it's
for
still
the most
manageable,
part,
I imagine.
No. If the sub pay, if there is no sub pay at the time, it normally means that we have jobs available.
Oh, I see.
So it's kind of a way to keep people from
abusing.
gaming the system.
Right. So,
I don't hear the fan in the headphones. That's good.
No, actually, anything I do hear is just from the vent, the dryer vent. Yeah, I thought that was the fan that I was hearing, but it's the dryer vent.
Yeah.
The
But
little
yeah,
low
dude.
hum.
So if we buy this cheap house, it's
Yeah.
in a better place. I mean, it's in a better place for the kids. I mean, it's
Yeah.
literally like walking distance for the kids.
Oh wow.
So that would
There
be
you go.
that would be nice for the kids.
Yeah.
It's cheap.
Yeah.
It's got 4 bedrooms. It's got a 2-car garage. It's got a pretty decent sized yard.
I mean, that sounds
So it's like
a win-win-win.
It's basically like this house with a basement.
But I mean, anything that needs to be done to it, you can do it, and I can help too.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's
So if like you need to tear out
That's
stuff
the
in the
benefit.
basement, I can come help. You know.
that's the benefit of doing maintenance for so long and
Right.
being a tradesman. It's like, dude, anything that's wrong I could fix.
Yeah.
So the only thing like the kitchen in the house looks really small, so we would have to take out a wall, and that's going to be kind of a bitch. But I don't know. The house is so cheap that we're like, it would be worth the hassle of getting the house right over
Right.
the next few years.
Yeah.
And then I also talked to Paige. It's like, if this isn't somewhere where you want to end up being forever, the house is so cheap we can turn it into a rental and move on from it, and then we have an investment property where that'll even help us too.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, it's so
That's a
cheap.
good move.
It's so cheap that we could afford to do that eventually.
Well, yeah, you want to make sure. Yeah, I mean, it sounds extremely affordable, and I would say, hell yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
If you go there, even if there's some shit that's wrong with it, everything's fixable, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing, there's only some like if it's a major expenses where you're going to talking about major money, then no. Like if there's major foundation issues or like the whole roof needs to be like a full replacement,
Yeah.
that might be an issue. But other than that, dude, everything else is fixable.
Yeah.
And they can't sell it with bad electrical most of the time. So as long as like the electricity works pretty decent,
Well, I mean, we would get it inspected, of course,
Right.
and if there's anything that's majorly wrong, we're not going to take it. I mean,
Yeah.
there's got to be a reason why it's.
Dude, I lucked out. I wish
There's
I
got to be a
still-
reason why it's $100,000 less than
I
every
don't.
other
Well, I don't.
house.
I was gonna say I wish I still had my old house, but the neighborhood is not great. I mean, like literally a block away, a small city block, not like a New York block, like a small city block away, was like not the greatest area. All of a sudden, you just have the kids. It comes out of nowhere, boarded windows.
Yeah.
Just grass to the roof
But
of the house.
dude, the older I get, the less I care about that. Like, I really thought that.
I cared about it because there was just too many I didn't have personal interactions, but anybody I ever dated had some problems over there.
Yeah.
Like the men, like the crappy men out there like are just real psycho. They're weird.
Yeah.
I had a girlfriend that was followed in my house on a few different occasions, and I saw it happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's weird.
I was hoping it was just another lie, but it wasn't.
No, I remember that one. That was weird.
I was like,
the guy was
shit.
like, "Oh, you're so pretty," and she's like, "Go away! I'm going home."
Yeah, some
like,
dude
what
just
the fuck
followed
are you
her
doing?
all the way to the house.
Yeah, that was weird.
And I walked out and I started yelling at him. I never saw him again.
But that's it, dude. So that's the thing is like, okay, that is fucked up. But growing up, we're like, we grew up on the mile roads in Southeast Michigan, right? And like everyone is kind of taught that like the higher up in the mile roads you get, the safer you're gonna be because like you're in the, you get to a certain point, you're in the fucking hood. And the older I get, I'm like,
my bad.
The older I get, the more I'm like, I don't really care about that. Like I don't want to have to worry about. I don't think I would move to Pontiac. I don't think I would move to Detroit.
Yeah.
I don't think I would move to Flint. But the areas outside of it, like,
there's some sweet. But the thing is that I know people that live in some of those cities, and they live in some. There is some really badass parts of all. Even like the cities that have a bad rap.
Yeah.
Like Pontiac. I mean, when I took a break from the trade I normally work in, and was doing like door installations, or at least attempting to, trying to learn.
You were there, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's nice houses. I got a couple buddies that live in Pontiac, and they have really nice houses. Like, and not like, oh, it's nice for Pontiac. I'm like, it's actually like you walk in, and you're like, whoa, this is a nice place, man.
Right.
It's nice outside. It's nice inside. It's like.
Right.
And every neighbor is like every neighbor's house is well kept and maintained. Pontiac gets such a bad rap, but there is certain parts of it where it's like, dude, I don't want to be around that apartment complex or But with that being said, I think moving to like a place that is, oh, this is a nice area. I think those places are so inflated, it's not even worth what they are.
Right.
And we were looking, we're looking in northern Oakland County, so it's like so expensive, and I'm like, I don't want to live where I'm gonna get a regular ass house for $3 or $4, well, not even $3 anymore, $400,000 or $500,000. It's not worth it.
Right.
That's not the kind of life I want.
No.
And like our house has to be. Man, there's so many different things to consider with buying a house, right? Like my jurisdiction as a pipe fitter is Detroit, Metro Detroit, right? So like almost all the work I've done has been Macomb County or Oakland or Southern Oakland County, and I'm at the very top of Oakland County right now, which sucks. Like I'm working at 9 in Hoover on a job. It's like, dude, I'm driving 55 miles one way, so I need to move south.
Yeah,
but the thing
how
is,
south can you?
That's the thing. Paige is not willing to live in the east side.
And I get it. I don't want to live on the east side that much. I mean, I'm kind of still on the east side, but not. It's a nicer part, and I'm still north. And like, even if you were living out closer to that way, it would be such a drive still. It might be easier because you can take like
further north, like you. Yeah, I mean that would suck. But
actually, it wouldn't even be that bad because I can get to that side of town pretty quick because you just hop on 53.
Yeah, but
the
consideration is where my ex lives and where my kids live.
Right,
half
you got
the
a
time.
lot of other shit.
I've got one kid with me full time, and I got 2 kids that are with me half the time, and they have a life in the city where their mom lives. So we're like, okay, let's move closer to that city, maybe into that city,
right,
so that things are easier for the kids. And I don't want, it's the thing that's a struggle is that I don't want Paige to feel like I'm basing my life around my ex because that's a shitty feeling. And I'm not. But if I base, my life,
kids. It's about
exactly.
The kids.
It has nothing to do with my ex. We got to base our lives around my kids have an established life, so it's not fair to be like, I mean, like take it to the extreme. We can't just move to California,
right?
Because me and Paige want to. Like, I have kids, and my kids have a life already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, I mean, that's extreme, and that's never even been talked about. But when we're talking, like, an hour away from where they're growing up at, it's not fair to them.
Yeah.
Especially since they live here half the time.
Yeah.
You know?
I wish we lived in I'm not going to lie. I lived in Florida for almost a year, and I miss it every day. I didn't like not being around anybody or having, anybody I knew around. And missing the family, that kind of sucked. But like, I don't know, man. The weather was so nice. You could just go. I mean, it rained every day, but it rained for like a half hour, unless it was like hurricane season.
Yeah.
But I loved it, man.
One of my favorite
The
moments.
best dates I ever went on were down there, man. They were all beach dates. Like they were like getting dinner on the water and shit, dude. I was like, it was so more memorable than anything I ever did with anyone else.
You
know?
You didn't put that log back up to hold the lid up.
I did not.
That's all right. It'll probably help us for it to have more the smoke to have more places to go.
It might help.
But
yeah, I don't know.
One of my favorite memories, even though I was on vacation. I mean, I went like 10 years without taking a vacation because I'm a fucking workaholic.
Right.
But me and Paige went on vacation to Florida, went to Orlando, and went to Universal. We stayed on International Drive, which is like where all the resorts are.
That's where I lived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we went to we had kind of a cluster. Okay. So just to like land my plane, the moment where I was like, dude, fuck yeah, is we were sitting at the pool and it was overcast like it is right now.
Right.
But it was like 75, maybe 80 degrees, and it was like March, so 80 degrees was like hot for us right then because our bodies are used to fucking 40-degree weather.
Yeah.
And Paige fell asleep. She was laying under a couple of towels, I think, if I remember right. And I was sitting at a table similar to this one, poolside, and I was reading Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain. And it was just like the rain was just like a mist. So it was like it started to mist. Paige is sleeping. I'm like reading. I'm just like, God damn, I feel like so at peace.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's such a nice moment.
I spent every day before work, because I worked afternoons, by the pool. It was amazing. I lived at basically a place that was a resort that they remodified into a condo place, which was super cool because it was gated. Not that mattered there, but it was gated. Everyone was pretty cool. The only thing the downfall is that a lot of people still kind of treated it like a resort. Like some people had some rights to like turn theirs into Airbnb. So there was some there was some loud parties and stuff, like the unit above mine.
Yeah, stuff happens.
But it was still fun, dude. It was still cool. I didn't mind it.
Dude, like, right at the beginning of COVID, when we were all off of work,
yeah,
you and I talked about renting a van.
Wow. Yeah.
You getting smoke in your eyes again?
That's fine. If I do this, I'll be okay.
We talked about renting a van and driving out to Arizona because we were like, dude, let's try to convince everybody in the family to move somewhere warm, because we, like, for whatever reason, you and I both just got in this mood. We're like, dude, fuck this state.
You know what? Because it was the year that we were mountain biking a lot, and it was like, cool, we have 3 months to do this.
Yeah. Well, that's not really true, but you know.
4 or 5 maybe.
Well, no, I mean, in all honesty, when you have what, January, February of like unbearable outside weather, every other month is bearable.
December's not great. December, January, February.
Depends on the year, but December,
March is nice.
the end of December,
Yeah, you're right.
the end of December
Okay,
normally
so
you start to see snow stick.
Yeah,
but
then
for the most part, it's January.
But
and
then you
February.
have then the rest of the months, then you have there's a good 4 months other than those 3
of wet and shitty.
That's just mud, and it's
Yeah.
really hard to have fun doing it when you're slipping and sliding everywhere.
It's true.
It's still it's kind of fun, but it's not nearly
It's
as fun as
different.
being able to like tear it up and really go for it.
Yeah. God, I miss mountain biking.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, I mean, we were talking about renting a van and driving out to Arizona, but once we realized how Arizona works, we're like, nah. And in the trade that I'm in,
Yeah.
there's not a lot of. I mean, I think Detroit might be one of the only jurisdictions where you're not traveling for a career. I mean, for the most part, you're driving all around Metro Detroit, but being a pipe fitter, man, like if you. As far as I know, the guys that I've met and the travelers I've met, like every other jurisdiction is traveling out of state for several months, working shutdowns to make their living.
Right.
And I don't want to do that. I want to work.
Yeah.
I want to work like Steady Eddie. I want to be fucking 40 hours all year round,
right.
close to home.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've been fortunate enough. Like the last 5 years, I haven't had to travel basically at all.
Right.
I mean. The worst of it right now. I'm driving 55 miles to get to the job site, but that's not even bad. That's just Metro Detroit.
But that's a lot. That's just a ton of miles yearly, man.
I mean, yeah, but it's my fault because I moved to the very top of my jurisdiction, so that's my fault. But
yeah, you guys got to figure out a spot
Well, I mean, where this cheap house is that we're going to look at Monday, like that I'm excited about because that's a lot close. It's a lot closer. It's cheap, $155.
What?
Yeah,
That's scary.
Less than half. It's an old lady house.
Oh. I would just say get it. Don't even. Who cares? What's wrong with it?
I know.
155. You could put $100,000 in it and still be making money probably.
Yeah.
Or $50,000. We could put $50,000 in that bitch and still make out on it.
If I could put $50,000 in materials in it and just do the labor myself, the house would be amazing.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's so cheap. Your rent would be half of what it is here.
The mortgage would be half of what I pay for rent.
I mean, rent. Yeah. Your mortgage would be. I don't know why I said rent.
It's okay. I'll forgive you.
I like renting though. I thought about buying a house and even like was kind of working towards it when I was staying with family for a short period of time, and then I said screw it. I like renting. I just like it right now.
It's fine.
Dude,
your shit is so cheap compared to how it used to be.
It's so cheap.
It makes so much more sense.
It's as cheap as my shitty cheap ass house that I used to have. You know, like it's cheaper. Oh, it's as cheap as that mortgage.
Well, I mean, dude, you used to like one of your apartments was like almost $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
And it was like you by yourself. It's like, dude, what? Like, well, how the fuck are you doing this? Doesn't make any sense.
It was tough. And I was okay for a minute, but you know,
it wasn't even worth the $2,000. It was like
it's a one bedroom.
Yeah,
I was
did I ever even go there? I don't think I ever even went there.
I don't know.
It doesn't
maybe
matter.
not. No, because I think our stepbrother helped me move in there.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I think. I don't remember now. Yeah, we weren't. Yeah. You never were over there. I mean, a lot of people weren't. How long? I don't even know that I was there that long.
Yeah.
I was there from like March to. No, I was there almost a year. I had to break my lease and then pay that back. So I think I was there just shy. Like
well, it just didn't make sense. I mean, it was so much money.
Well, it wasn't even. I mean, yes, it doesn't make sense, and I should have not even taken that. But I kind of needed something.
Yeah.
And
I mean, everyone's end up in. I mean, look at us.
Right.
We're in a good position.
Like, well, you guys. Oh, but I mean, look at how much you have for the same price that I was paying for a one bedroom. That's crazy.
Yeah, but we're also at the very top of Oakland County.
Right.
So we're suffering in that sense. Like we have a big house, a big yard.
Yeah.
But we're at the very top of Oakland County, and that fucking sucks for me. It's good for Paige, but it sucks for me.
Yeah. I think I like the idea of renting a little bit right now because it's like I feel like I have a little bit more freedom. Like
the reason take that empty. Sorry.
Yeah. When I moved to Florida and sold my house, there was such a weight lifted off my shoulders when that thing sold.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, not because I don't like living in a house, but I don't have a family and I haven't had a stable, significant other for a while.
Yeah.
So
there's so much.
Huh?
Sorry.
No, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say there's been so much extra noise this episode because of the table and the fire and the wind.
Right. Well, that's all right. It's fine.
Whatever.
It's
the vibe of the fucking. It's the vibe, man.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just thinking, like, damn, like, you know, people might be annoyed. You know, people that listen to the podcast might be like, God, there was so much going on this episode. But
yeah, I don't care.
We're sitting outside. Well, I do care. I don't want people to be mad, but we are sitting outside and we're like trying to enjoy the weather.
Yeah.
We're sitting, you know. Got the fire going, sitting in the backyard, enjoying the nature a little bit.
Yeah, I like it. It definitely has a different feel.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like I said, I enjoy renting. For me personally, because I'm single with no kids, I have the freedom to just like pick up and leave. You know, if I really had to, or if I really wanted to, if I found something, if there was some reason that I wanted to get the hell out, I can. You know, without it taking 3 months to sell and then having
3 months would be lucky if it's that quick.
Right.
Well, I mean, it is kind of a seller's market now.
I was going to say, at the time when I sold my last house, it was quick. It was like, I think it was in the market a month, and so like I was ready. I was like, holy crap, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. But
you know what we could have done that would have made this whole podcast better? Is we could have been like fucking cooking meat this whole time. Just had like meat on the grill.
Yeah.
Dude, fucking, yeah, we had a party on Friday. Yeah, it was a good time.
It was cool. I was rather unsocial, primarily because I started.
Why are you so hung up on that?
I'm not hung up. I'm just going to talk about it because I want to.
Okay.
I'm not hung up on it. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
Just talking about what's going on. That was a little unsocial. I started a new company, so like, you know, it was just I think it was like the first week coming to a head. And I was like, oh, it might be cool to go to a party, like to kind of unwind. And it helped, but like I definitely didn't feel like talking to a ton of people. Like I was just kind of like,
Yeah.
you know, my brain was a little fried by the end of the week.
But here's the thing, me and Paige, I understand being in your head about like the new stuff that you got going on. Totally get that.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say that me and Paige do not keep company that are judgmental.
I know they're not.
You know,
that is not why. By the way, I don't.
You're not feeling that way because you thought you were being
No. You're
judged.
Her friends of your guys' friends always, but specifically her friends now, because you guys are a unit, right?
Yeah.
Have always been super cool.
Yeah. No.
Super cool.
Lewis and Darren,
and even like your friends before you guys met have always been. I've always gotten along with them.
Yeah.
You know, we've always talked, hung out, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem. You guys have had. I don't know.
None of our friends, like none of the company that we keep,
Yeah.
are ever gonna put you in a place where you feel weird.
No,
like,
no, no.
like everyone's
No,
very understanding.
No, that's what I mean. Is like I appreciate you.
So I don't want you to worry about.
Right.
That,
And
you
I
know?
don't.
Yeah.
And I don't. And I want us to say I appreciate you bringing that up, but to understand that also like that's not. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
I'm never worried about other people judging me because like I have my own quirks and I'm who I am.
Yeah.
And I know it's gonna be. Some people are just not gonna get it sometimes or whatever. Like Friday, I mean, like at the party, I tried to talk. I mean, I still talked, but like I was so busy. I was like writing notes on my phone over work, and I was just kind of in my own head.
It's all good. I mean, you know, it's like, so we had a barbecue. It was 70 degrees in March, man. So that's fucking, dude, it's like getting hot now. This is sweet. Yeah. So it was 70, and we're in mid-March in Michigan. That's a pretty fucking, that's a gift kind of thing, you know,
Right.
70 degrees. So we had friends over and we barbecued, man. I made a bunch of chicken quarters and brats and hamburgers, and we just had like noodle salad, you know, and we had good times. And dude, it was fucking great. We all got fucking sloshed and we talked shit and we played a couple board games.
Yeah, it was the first time I had to stay the night at someone's house.
And you know
in my
what?
Entire adult
This
life.
is a new gear. This is a new gear is like, even though I've had kids, my oldest. I've had kids since I was 19 years old. My oldest is in middle school.
Yeah.
But a new gear is that my friends now have kids too. So like we had my buddies' kids over here. You know, like we had our buddies and our kids over here. So that's a new gear for me because normally when we have like a party, it's like everyone has to find babysitters. It's kind of a burden. Yeah. People say no because they don't want to have to find a babysitter.
Yeah.
I was like, bring your kids.
I want to have kids.
The kids all ran around. Dude, it was a great time. The kids ran around in the backyard. They were all playing together, and like there was a baby here, and my kids were being so cute with the baby. Like they just wanted to hang out with it and play with it, and you know, my God, what a good time! What a good time!
Yeah.
Talking about music, talking about work.
My two
buddies are both pipe fitters, so
Right.
we talked about welding a lot because we're all autistic and we fucking that's where our autism shows is welding and welding pipe, you know. So we talk about music and welding.
Are you guys
all pipe fitters or all autistic?
No. Oh. All of you?
All of us are pipe fitters. Me, Darren, and Lewis.
No, I meant
are all
autistic.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
dude. If Lewis especially
Lewis is so funny.
I love
he might
Lewis.
be because he's
such a good
he's
guy.
not out there with his like when he's joking, but it's so like it's I don't know. He's a funny dude.
He's such a good guy.
I like it. Yeah, and he's nice.
Yeah,
he's nice with it. He's not like offensive
at all.
Because I always get worried because I'm like funny people are usually like
assholes,
pretty offensive.
Lewis is a sweetheart.
I don't know how he pulls it off.
He's a golden retriever.
Yeah, he's
just
a really
sweet
kind person.
Yeah, he is.
But also hilarious, and the fact he can balance those two it blows my mind.
Yeah, he's
I'm
a great dude, man.
I could learn something from this dude.
Yeah,
because I feel like my comedy is just like me being an asshole.
Yeah,
which is funny to me, maybe not no one else. I'm trying not to be.
He's a kind man. I think it takes more work to be kind and funny than it does to be mean and funny. It's easy to be mean and funny.
Right.
You know?
It's easy to pick on people.
But he to poke fun at him with like where does your autism show? It's like, dude, if you talk to him about cars or bands, he's like 1989 Ford Escort Cosworth Mark II, definitely made for 3 years, definitely. Like, and he just like, it doesn't matter. Like if you were like, hey, what engine?
What do you think I have? What do you? Because you've talked about things that you know.
Anger.
Well, yeah, but
No,
what do you think is wrong with me? Because people said, because I've thought maybe like I was slightly
You,
on the
me-
spectrum,
you,
but
me
I don't
and
think
our
I am.
sis-
I think
you-
I have ADHD
no,
for sure.
no, fuck
Some.
ADHD. It's not even real. Not even real.
I mean, it is. But
It's not real. It's not real. It's fake. It's fake
It
news.
is.
It's fucking. It's an invented disease for fucking pharmaceutical companies to give kids methamphetamine. Fuck off. It's not real.
Well, I mean, there's something going on in my brain.
I think you, me, and our sister. We have a lot of siblings, but our blood. You, me, and our sister share the same parents.
Yeah.
I think all three of us are emotionally impaired.
That's not what I'm talking about. I don't care about that part.
I think we're all EI.
I don't think that.
I think we're all EI, and that affects the way we think about things.
Yeah, but like I'm talking about other things like hyperfixation, stuff like that.
EI.
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 Emotionally. Andale, baby. EI. Uh-oh. Me and you and Christina are fucked. Dude, no, I think we're all EI.
Yeah, but I don't think I had anything. I mean, I don't know, but why? Because I don't think like I don't when I look back, I don't think it was so devastating. Anything like was so traumatic that it could be. I
No,
mean, I know people who are probably have less fixation and less mental issues that have been through way worse than me.
I think that
not that I have serious mental issues.
In all honesty, I think our parents have a weird way of thinking. Both of our parents have a weird way of thinking about stuff.
Okay.
And I think that we picked up their habits, and that the way that we think about things, or the way that we did think about things as younger, as kids or young adults, trickled into issues that we had.
Yeah.
I think there's some control issues. I think there's some lying issues. I think there's stuff that each one of us has had to work through because we picked up bad habits. I don't think that it's trauma-based EI. I think it's what do they say? Nature or nurture. So I think it's a nurture issue.
The weird
where we
thing
picked
is,
up
though,
these
is
bad
that
habits from our parents.
Maybe the reason I say maybe is because I feel like we don't act or treat people the way our parents did. Not that they treated people badly, but I think that me and you specifically are far different from
at 30 though. At 30,
well,
and
even
38,
younger,
31 and 38.
even younger. I had fun. I had a good time. Yeah, when I was younger, I was angry all the time, but it wasn't because of mom and dad. I was just an angry dude. I had a lot of. As the older sibling, growing up in a household where those two had to work a lot, and then when they split, obviously, like I just had to like always be the person that was trying to guide whatever was happening.
Yeah.
And then I made friends with like a bunch of musicians and potheads and druggies and whatever, and I had to be the dad all the time. So people respected me to some extent, but they also like kind of hated me because I was always the guy that brought down the fun.
Yeah.
But I did it because it's like, well, and the
I don't
irony
think
is a lot of those people, and I'm not saying like I had anything specifically to do with this, but when it came to a time where I just stopped hanging out with that kind of crowd because I just couldn't handle it anymore.
Yeah.
And I was, in a serious relationship, about to get married and stuff like that. So I just kind of like let all that shit fall to the wayside and deal with my real shit, real life, my own life. When I did that, though, a lot of those people ended up in jail and crazy stuff. So I mean, like, I think a big part of me feels like I was doing too much because those people were going to end up in those situations.
There was a lot. Well, just like any other family that comes from divorce, like everyone makes adjustments to make the family unit still work.
Yeah.
So, our parents split up. Our dad became like a typical 90s divorce, early 2000s divorce, where it was every other weekend kind of deal. And because of that, you had to pick up the pieces where, dad wasn't available. So then you became a third parent. And that wasn't fair to you because you were a kid.
I mean, it's all right.
I mean, but it's not. It shouldn't have shook out that way. But like, and like, weird, and my oldest is going through some of the same shit where it's like, hey man, I know that you can help. I need your help. Yeah. And so like he has a little bit of resentment. So I kind of see it from a new angle because at the time I was an 8-year-old kid or whatever. Yeah. So I didn't, or maybe even younger.
Like shit, but this is going up for a sec.
Whatever.
It's gonna block the wind from the mic too.
Yeah. I was a 8-year-old kid I think 8 years old when that happened, you know. So like
Probably.
my perspective was always from a place of as the little brother, as the youngest of the family,
Yeah.
until our parents remarried. But
you had it the hardest, I think, because you didn't see the normal family unit as much as me and Christina did. Like
Yeah.
we definitely had a good period of time of normalcy, and at least I did. I know I did. And even like when it wasn't that normal, when I look back, I still had a good time. It was never that crazy. And I think
growing up for me, it was just chaos and anger and
But I will say
fighting
this,
until
I think
until
our-
the divorce happened. Then it was radio silence. Then it was alone and silent all the time.
I would say that our emotional issues, if they're, whether that whatever that is, I would say that it's something. I don't think that it's entirely. God dang, tornadoes coming through.
Can you throw a piece of wood on?
I will in a minute. Sorry. I want to get this thought out first.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. All of us as very, very young children, even me, myself.
Yeah.
I particularly, my childhood was pretty damn sweet. It wasn't until I became a teenager things got tough. And that being said, I was an emotional child to some degree. I definitely didn't handle criticism well. I didn't handle joking well. I didn't handle anything well.
Yeah.
And maybe most kids don't. I think whatever we have is genetic, and I do think it's something. I don't think it's traumatic. I don't think it's trauma. I don't think it's delivered by trauma.
No, I wasn't saying that. I wasn't saying that it was the.
Well, when you say EI, I feel like that's a trauma. Derivative.
No. That's an assumption. No, it's not that. It's sometimes it is that.
Yeah.
But not here. This is what I was saying about like it's nature versus nurture. It wasn't like. I said nurture, but I didn't mean that it was our parents that caused it. It was that we were taught that this is the way to think. And our parents both have kind of a toxic way of thinking about their friends and thinking about their coworkers, where they're kind of like, I don't know. I don't want to say that. I think they have a toxic or almost like a victim way of thinking about their friends and family, where they're like, I don't know, I just don't call anybody because they don't call me, that kind of thing. Or like, well, this guy fucking disrespected me, so I'm never gonna blah blah.
I don't have any of that.
And I'm like,
Do you know how much my friends have
not
disrespected me? How much I've done for my friends? I still
but
consider
that's still
them friends.
banking. No, but you're still the fact that you even say it like
no,
that
because you
means
have
that
to,
you bank.
No, it's not like I'm keeping
And you
tabs,
can't
but
ba-
it's true. You can even think back to my friendships that you were more acquainted with than my more recent ones, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So like, and you know that.
Yeah.
It's not taking tabs, and it's nothing against those people, and I would never hold it against them, because if it was, I would never talk to them again.
But there were times where you were like, they don't understand how different my situation is than their situation, and I resent the fuck out of the fact that I'm having to do extra work and they don't even show up. I'm trying to be vague without being like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's kind of difficult
no,
to
I know
explain the situation.
I know what you're talking about, but it's not. I'm not even speaking on those things.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Okay, well, to circle back to like
Yeah.
the macro here is
Yeah.
that because I love those guys, and I don't. We were all fucking in our early 20s, so
Yeah.
but to circle back to the macro, I think that the way that we thought about our friends and the way we thought about our family when we were younger was tainted by the way that our parents think about friends and family, because I think they have an immature angle about the way they think about things. They think about it like they're egocentric, and it's not even to be like, oh, you're a narcissist or anything like that. I'm not going to put a title on it like that.
Yeah.
But it's egocentric, where it's like, well, the way that you act affects me this way, and it's like also everybody has their own life. You gotta have this empathy. You gotta train this muscle of empathy when you think about your friends and family, and understand that people just don't, like, as brutal as this is to even say or think, people don't give a fuck. Like I just like when I make a decision, I don't give a fuck how it's gonna affect Lewis or Darren, which I love Lewis and Darren.
Right.
But just as an example, I'm not going to make a decision that's going to benefit Lewis or Darren for my
yourself.
family
Yeah,
or
yeah,
over
yeah,
myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
For
like,
sure.
so mom and dad both have this way of being like, well, they don't even,
Yeah.
and you're like, hold on. Like they have kids. They
Right,
have
yeah,
a life that doesn't include you.
I don't see. I guess I don't know. I think there's more to it than that. I think
There's more. I mean, of
I
course,
think
there's
that's
more
kind
to it
of
than that.
unfair because I've never like stopped talking to friends for that reason. Most of the friends I stopped talking to or people I stopped talking to was for serious toxic shit
Yeah.
that like
And to
I
be-
put up, and I'm talking after 6-7 years of putting up with it.
Yeah.
And I won't. And if I never see those people again, guess what? No harm, no foul. Do I think about them? Yeah, I definitely do because they. I mean, we had such good times together, but we had some very dark times.
And noodle
together.
salad.
We had good times. I don't know that we ever had noodle salad together, but maybe
We
it
had
would have
noodle-
changed things.
We had noodle salad Friday.
If I had noodle salad with those toxic friends, maybe things would have panned out different.
Dude, we always talk about fuck all this negative shit.
Yeah.
Speaking of good times, noodle salad. We had noodle salad on Friday, and okay, so Friday was a week of me being on this medication.
Oh yeah.
Let's change the subject a little
Sure.
bit because we've talked about all this shit a million times, and
Right. Yeah.
I feel like whenever we talk about this stuff, we have to tread lightly to like not hurt anyone, and I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
I don't think that would happen, but
Yeah, but
I think I like talking about it though, because I think I'll be honest with you. Like when we do have those conversations, I really wish I could I want to express to you in those conversations that some of the ideas you have about, I think some things are not. I don't want to say they're wrong, but I think that some of the details are slightly misplaced sometimes, and so I really like to get my point across because I really want you to have a better understanding of those things from my perspective.
I don't know as far as
like things that I've been through personally. We've had a lot of conversations throughout this podcast that made me realize because I talk to you about a lot of stuff, but there's a lot I leave out, right? Like, and it's not because it's like necessarily not your business or I don't feel like sharing. I just sometimes I don't really give all the details. And
Yeah.
there's I think there's layers to a lot of things that I feel like maybe I should be a little bit more open about.
well, there's going to be layers to everything. I mean,
Yeah.
everything. Like if you take a simple conflict between you and a friend, there's so much to consider.
Well, for
Just
sure.
like fucking Billy didn't show up. Okay,
Yeah.
let's break it down. Billy has kids. Billy has a wife. Billy has a job. Chris has a job. But Chris doesn't have kids, but Chris has obligations. And they made plans X amount of time ago. I mean, there's so many things to consider in
Yeah.
a simple conflict.
Yeah.
So when you talk about these conflicts with this like the newer group of friends, like the last 10 years, those guys,
Yeah.
that group of friends, when you try to consider the fucking mess that those situations can be in, it's like, dude, this is fucking.
It's not even worth talking
It's
about.
not even worth talking.
I don't
about
like
'cause
that
there's
shit.
so much.
No.
You gotta. Can you throw something on there?
Yeah.
Because I'm getting cold. We gotta get that fire going hot.
I mean, there's not much left. It's just over there.
I got a ton of wood, but throw whatever's left right there. Throw everything on there that's left. Fuck it, run it. Yeah, you can just lay that across that whole thing and then fill in the little stuff. I didn't know you had to get up. I would have got up too. I thought you could reach that stuff from sitting down. Can you? Yeah, I was gonna say, can you try to lay something across what's really what's completely on fire? Like that little guy that's in front of the. You see the little guy that's on the ground?
Oh yeah.
Can you lay that little guy across what's on fire? I think that'll get the whole thing going. Yeah, because that's what's really burning right now. So if you get that fucker going, then we'll be in good shape. Yeah,
That's gonna roll off.
it'll be all right.
Okay.
It'll be all right. Even if it does roll off, it'll be funny.
Smoke probably pretty bad, but
No, it should be. It was all under the tarp, and it's weathered by 2 years, so
okay.
it's all seasoned by 2 years. I mean to say. But we got to get something hot. It's getting cold. It's gonna get it started at 50 degrees today, and it's gonna be 35 by the end of the day today.
Right.
So we gotta keep that fucking thing hot.
So-
why I wanted to get that fire hot.
Yeah.
As
I mean, I get it. We don't want to talk about but it's not negative. This is another thing too. Is it's not negative to have those conversations because they're important conversations, and this podcast is going to be about anything and everything. I think so.
Yeah.
Without getting too specific, obviously, and being offensive, which has never been in my nature. I mean, there's nobody really that in my past that's like F them. Even the worst people. I'm just like, I get it. I do understand it. Because people go through shit and they act
that's
out.
what we've talked about. Is like, man, if I had their lives, I'd probably be just like them,
or worse. I mean, I've had a pretty damn good life, and I've had my moments of, not necessarily being a bad person, but not being the best person I could be.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you couple that with some really traumatic experiences, like seriously traumatic.
Yeah.
Not just like, I was disciplined a lot as a child, or my parents had to work a lot. Like,
well, I don't think it's fair to be okay. You can go to the extremes and be like, well, no one I know was murdered. Like, you don't want to undermine like the things that we actually went through. Like,
sure.
Like, to be fair, your childhood got cut short because of obligations.
Yeah.
Mom had to work a lot to keep the roof above our heads.
Yeah.
So she sacrificed time with us, but that means that you sacrificed time being a kid because all of a sudden you had to be responsible for your younger siblings. So like that is real. That is real stuff.
I think my biggest problem.
You shouldn't put that on sale.
And I agree. I agree to some extent.
It sucks to have to do that,
but it's not about putting it on sale as much as it is as being understanding that there's like it's not about comparing apples and oranges or whatever. It's about like going, well, they're all fruit. Let's figure out which, like, you still have to kind of compare things and go, okay, because that's really part of the healing process. It's like, well, I've been in my opinion less traumatic stuff than you, but I've had to deal with more health issues or mental health issues in the past. Why is that? You know what I mean? Why is that? I mean, I don't know. So, I mean, I think it's cool to have those discussions, but also try to be real about it and try to really, it's kind of nice to kind of dig a little bit in yourself. I spent a lot of years doing that. But I was going to say, I think a lot of the issues I haven't had a whole lot of issues with maintaining friends as much as people I think, because I still talk to like 90% of the friends.
No,
but what I'm getting at is that like
I don't feel that way. I don't feel like you have like no friends or something.
I've never. That's not even in times where I feel like I could.
I know that you confide in me. I know that I like. Don't assume that my perspective of your friend group is only the negative shit you've shared. I understand that you're confiding in me because you're like, dude, fucking this happened, and I want to talk about it. See, did you get a little wave of that heat? That felt so good.
No, it's good now.
That felt so good. It made my balls tingle.
So like, but anyway, yeah. I mean, it's all good, man. And you know that a lot of people that I've moved on from, it was well worth it.
Sure.
There's been, I'm someone who will be friends with you for 10 years and then finally be like, look, man, we're going to have to not, because this has been 10 years of me really catering to your toxicity,
sure,
or your narcissism, or your, whatever it is that you haven't soul searched about. Yeah. I spent a lot of my it's funny, as like you talk about my childhood being cut out a little bit. I've never had a childhood because I didn't even get to live it when I got older. I partied a little bit, but then I had to be the dad for the friend group while still kind of being, the third parent to my siblings. And then on top of that, and then our parents couldn't handle you and Christina when you were a teenager, so I had to handle it too, or try to help out. And then as I got older, then I started becoming whatever. Then I went through a marriage and then a divorce, which was amicable. So it's not like it was like some weird stuff. There was no trauma there. It was just like, I wanted life A, she wanted life B, and after like 11 years of... we were friends for 2 years, then we got together. We were together for 10 years, so that's 12 years of knowing someone, and then we just changed. We grew up. We grew up in totally different directions. I wanted a more traditional life, and she didn't.
Right.
And so it was just like, it was a little hurtful, and it kind of sucked, but it was never bad by any means. And then any depression I've had to deal with has been just in my own head, but I think a lot of it is based on this skepticism of... I'm very understanding and very forgiving, but I'm a pretty damn good person and I'm very honest. And being that person and being intelligent enough to notice that shit all the time sucks, because then when people have it out for you or want to have it out for you, I feel like they do more. They do too much. And it hurts. It sucks. That part sucks. Because when people want to get at you, they're going to go at you where it hurts because they know that you could if you were a bad person. That bothers me. No, and I'm not saying that happens all the time, but I've just experienced that. That's led to some depression because I'm like, I would never do that to that person, Or then you say something, someone asks you a question, you're honest in the friend group.
You think that's intentional? You think it's intentional?
No,
to play
you know
those
what's
games?
funny is I would love to think so but then that would mean that they're super hyper intelligent, and I really don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
Not being arrogant, but they're not.
I think
I've got two friends that are, you would never know it just like meeting them because they're just normal, down to earth, humble people, funny people.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of friends that are hyper intelligent people that really mask it because most people do, right? A lot of the people that I've surrounded myself, I would say they're intelligent, very intelligent, but they're the people that
I think a lot of people use tactics and don't even realize it. They
I think
just
it's
learn
survival.
that.
It's like some trauma survival shit.
I feel like people learn that like if I do this, then this is the response I get.
Yeah.
You know, to give you like an example, like I had a buddy who was like, "Man, I feel like I only get laid if I guilt trip my old lady." Like I only get laid if I guilt trip my old lady into it.
Well,
and he's like,
not healthy.
And he's like, and I don't like, and he recognized that.
Yeah.
But
so he recognized that as a problem.
He recognized that he's like, dude, I'm like manipulating my wife into sleeping with me by being like, it's been a long time and I just feel like I'm not close to you.
Yeah.
And then he's like, dude, what the fuck? He's like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I don't want sex in my relationship to be based around guilt.
Right.
You know, 'cause every time my wife sleeps with me, it's guilty. It's like, oh, you haven't done it enough. This is your obligation.
Right.
You know. But I think, it was it's impressive that he recognized that.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people walk around using these tactics they don't even recognize.
Yeah.
No,
I agree with that.
Especially like the woe is me kind of shit, where it's like, fucking poor me, and then people give up the principle that maybe someone has a boundary.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm not going to give up on my boundary because it made you feel bad. Like, I'm sorry, but you're crossing a boundary. And then the person goes, oh, me.
Yeah.
Woe is me. I'm a bad person. I'm just going to kill myself. And then you're like, well, I don't care about this boundary as much as I care about you being alive. So I guess I can't make my point, you know?
Yeah,
I
think extreme.
So, yeah, I know. I'm speaking in hyperbole, but I think that a lot of people walk around using these tactics and they don't even realize they're doing it. Because they're like, oh, I know. You know, I'll get the outcome that I want by using a tactic.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like my daughter throwing herself on the floor because I told her to clean her room and she doesn't feel like it.
Right.
It's like you can throw yourself on the ground all you want.
Yeah.
You're going to clean your room. You know?
Yeah. You know, I'll be honest with you. I wish I had that. That's why I think there's something else going on with me, man. Because I don't have that manipulative bone in me. Like, I'm aware as soon as it happens. Or as soon as I think about, like, well, I know if I'm slightly dishonest in this way, things will be way smoother.
See, that's
and I can't do it. I cannot.
But that's where EI. Is
that an EI thing?
I think
I want to dig into this.
I think being emotionally impaired makes you aware of things that regular people aren't aware of. If I meet
there's 1,000 things. You can have BPD or BPD is like that too.
Yeah, but that all falls in the same thing, right? It's all mental illness. But like being emotionally impaired doesn't necessarily mean that you have a diagnosis of some fucking affliction. But
I mean, I had a diagnosis for like cyclothymia when I was going through my divorce because I wasn't unlevel, but I was definitely like had mood swings. They put me on something for it, but honestly, I don't think I was supposed to be on that stuff. I tried like 3 different medications, and they all just made me want to die. Yeah. I was like, this isn't healthy.
Yeah.
I
don't know, man.
And I'm someone who's kind of always like been on that thing. I'm a little bit of I'm a nihilist in some ways, and people don't like that about me, but it doesn't mean that I don't feel anything or hold value to anything. I'm nihilist in the sense that, like, I personally feel the only thing that we truly have is the end. The only thing that we truly have that's inevitable is everything else could be anything, right? Like anything else, like you could be you could have the best thing in your life and it be taken from you or them or whatever it might be.
Yeah, but
I'm not saying it's the end all be all. It's some dark place of thinking. I don't think like that regularly. I'm just saying I'm well aware of what reality is. And so honestly, it makes me hold way more value in a lot of things more than people maybe would think. Because the values that I hold in things are no longer superficial because I feel that I know that whatever value I put into it is real. And so because I strongly feel like this, and I'm always going to be honest, even if my thoughts are a little crazy. I mean, we've gotten into it. I've gotten into it with other people, like, but we've all moved past those things, you know. And I've had moments of honesty that should have not been said to you specifically. And the reason I call that honesty is because it came from a place of feeling discontent with someone. When you feel like someone has your back and then one day you're like, they don't, right? It just really changes your outlook on things. And it kind of makes you kind of like, I don't know, kind of, and I'm not saying necessarily you, but like anybody, right? You're like, oh, it's not even about like, oh, I thought they were my friend and now they're not. It's not that, because people can be your friends and make mistakes. People, you know, whatever. So there's a million fucking avenues down that road, and it's always a two-way street. I don't believe in that bullshit. But when you feel like you can fully confide in someone, you can trust your name in their mouth when you're not around, that's important to me. But now that I'm older, it's not as important because I know who I am. I know that, like, I'm never going to be the guy that there's nothing to talk shit about. There's always something that I've got going on or doing, whether it's making a really corny Facebook post or changing my profile picture or gaining 100 pounds. There's always going to be something about me that people can talk about.
I mean, everybody, if you allow yourself, if anybody allows themselves to change who they are or what they are based on the opinion of other people,
right,
then you're always going to be a victim.
Yeah,
for
sure.
You gotta.
Yeah, how could you not be? If it's because it's clearly affecting you.
If you're a chameleon, you're bound. You have put yourself into a corner where you have to be a chameleon forever.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were talking about Lewis. Lewis is someone who makes me feel excited to be myself.
Yeah.
That's the kind of friend I want.
Yeah, they lift you up. That's what I want too.
He's the kind of guy that, like, I am me, dude, and like,
yeah, I got a couple friends. I got 2 friends specifically that are like that for me, and I can, even if they talk shit behind my back, it's always playful and it's never been detrimental.
Yeah,
and I will take that every day, and I almost want to shout them out, but I'm not gonna because it might offend other people. I don't know, but you know who they are, and I'm talking new friends, not even the old guys, because honestly, the old guys, it's been a rough, road on and off.
Yeah,
right?
but we all were growing up.
We're growing up.
I mean, we go from 15 years old to fucking in our 30s and 40s.
It's crazy, man.
It's like, of course, it's not exactly. It hasn't been an easy road for 20 years of friendship. I've known those guys since I was like 10 years old.
Right.
Man.
Yeah.
I'm 31. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And I still love the
years.
shit out of them. I love everybody, really. I love even some of the impossible people that I don't talk to anymore. I have love for everybody, which is weird. I didn't think when I was younger I didn't love anything, or at least I thought I didn't. And as I've gotten older, I'm like, sometimes it's like, sometimes you can love people and just like let them go, right? It's almost like sometimes that's the higher road to take. I kind of like that. I like holding love and ending things in a loving way. Even maybe it doesn't seem that way, because like you feel like people think that like ending, a relationship means the end of your ties or your bond with that person. I definitely feel bonded. I still have a bond to those people that were somewhat of a nightmare in my life,
Yeah.
But I don't think it's because I know their capabilities, and I hope to God that wherever they're at now or wherever they're going or they're heading, is in a better place.
Everything's got to come from a place of understanding, right? Like you don't want. I don't want anybody to suffer just because we didn't continue our friendship. Like, there's been talks that Paige and I had about my ex and being like, man, maybe as much as it hurts, like maybe the things that she was going through were because of who I was with her, and like,
I think it's always a
and like it's a hard thing like, okay, to get my thoughts in order.
Yeah.
There's a theme that I ran into when I first started dating outside. When me and my ex split up, I started dating these, dating other girls, and there was like a theme. And even watching you date other girls, there was a theme of these like, oh, my ex is crazy. I'm a victim. Everything that was wrong was because my ex was crazy. My ex was violent. My ex was loud. Whatever. And like some of that was probably true. Yeah. But I think the vast majority was not true. And I think to just be like,
I think so too.
I think to be just a victim and be like, I'm a victim of my circumstance because of this person,
right,
is not fair.
Yeah.
So,
well, I used to question one of my exes about things.
So when I look at my relationship with my ex, I want to go like, she made all of the wrong choices. She did
Right.
this, she did that. She made, she cheated. She used
Right.
drugs. Blah 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 blah. Right, like all the shit that she did that like ended the relationship. But then I want to look. But if I'm being fair and I'm trying to grow from my experience in that relationship, I can't just go, she was wrong, she was crazy, everything that happened was her fault.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, let me try to understand, if I was in her position, why did she make those choices?
Yeah.
And it makes me start to realize that a lot of those decisions were made from a place of wanting to gain control back. And does that mean that she's a terrible person, or does it just mean that me and her were terrible for each other?
Does it just mean that she's human? I mean,
it's
a human nature.
That was never in question. It's not about like, oh, is she a human? No, yeah, she is. But
I'm just saying,
but the thing is,
some of the
like,
darkest things, and I mean, all of the darkest things.
The main point
that we
is
know.
not that like I was questioning whether or not that she's a person. It's like I was questioning whether or not she's a bad person. And it's like, is she a bad person? I don't know. I think.
Well,
I think
my
what it
point
boils
is-
down to.
yeah.
I think what it boils down to is that her and I were bad for each other, and I
Sure.
think that because we had gotten together when we were children. I mean, we were 15 years old.
Right.
When we got together as we were children,
Mhm.
and then we had children together, and then we like played house trying to
Right.
figure out how the fuck do we have
Sure,
a life?
yeah,
How do we
yeah.
have kids? How do we do this? How do we pay our bills?
Yeah. I mean, of course, but I think anybody throughout those ages goes through that. I don't think it's anything different than anybody else.
But
has gone through.
my nature is to be like, fuck her. We
Yeah.
had everything and she fucked it up. And it's like, did we or did I? You know what I mean? I had control. I had 3 kids. I was the fucking patriarch of the family. I had control. Me, right? And then it was like she had to fall in line.
Right.
And then she didn't fall in line. And then she cheated and she stole money and she did all the things
Sure.
that she did. And
yeah.
and then like my nature is to be resentful and be like, you cross my boundaries, fuck you, you're a piece of shit, you're a bad person forever. But like, is that really what it is? Or is it just that like,
I just watched
if I was
something-
in that position, would I want to take back control in the ways that she took back control?
Sure.
If I was in a position where someone else was working and someone else had autonomy and I was dependent on the person that was working and the person that had autonomy, and I was
Yeah.
just in this house and I was kind of a prisoner of my own house and a prisoner of my kids, would I also try to take back control by cheating and stealing and using
Maybe.
drugs to cope?
Maybe. I mean, those are choices.
I probably would do a lot of the things that she did
Yeah.
if the roles were reversed. I still resent them. I still like,
Yeah.
not in an unforgiving way, but like, man, you shouldn't have done that to me. I don't,
Yeah.
you shouldn't have done that. That's not you shouldn't have done the things that you did.
Sure.
But if I look at it from a place of understanding,
But you have to dig deep and understand if there's anything that one thing that I do that nobody I know really does is I remember every bad thing I've said and every bad thing I've done to everyone. And there are times where I sit down and I have time alone and I think about everything that I've done that I could have done better.
Mm.
And a lot of people think that's self-destructive. A lot of people think that's wrong. I think it's a beautiful thing, even if it depresses you for a month. I think everyone should do it. That being said, I think that's the biggest issue, and that's the biggest difference between me and quite a handful of people that I know personally, that I've been friends with. And not a lot of them. A lot of people there's a handful of friends I have now. I notice the older I get, the more friends I have that are more introspective like that. They're very aware. As soon as they do something wrong, they're like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that.
yeah,
They're like, and they'll think about it and they'll dwell on it. It affects them. I want people who are affected by their mistakes. It's humbling, man. If all of humanity was in a tribe, who the fuck would you trust? Those are the only people you would trust. The people who are self-aware enough to be like, I fucked up bad. Even if they make mistakes, and they make mistakes often, the people that are honest about it to themselves and honest about it to other people, those are the people I want around me now. And that's it. And
Yeah.
I think that, and so going back to what you were just talking about, I think not just accepting that it's a two-way street, not just accepting that maybe you had something to do with maybe her actions or whatever. I think also being very well aware of some of the maybe more heinous things that maybe have happened that you were responsible for. You have to take ownership of those, and you have to sit with those. I think that
heinous things that happened that I was responsible for.
Yeah, if there's anything that you did, I'm not saying there are. I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying that if there's anything that you did that, and if you, I'll be honest with you, considering how toxic that relationship became, if you feel like you're completely guilt free in that situation, then you have some soul searching to do, because there's no way. That was so toxic that there's no way you could have stayed in that relationship for 10 plus years and never have been.
There was nothing heinous.
Yeah.
That's a brutal word.
Well, whatever.
To use.
Okay, maybe not heinous. I mean, that's not like I understand that's a big deal on words, but semantics aren't important. I think you understand the bigger picture here.
They're definitely important. You gotta. I mean, we're talking about a relationship where it was like
maybe not heinous. Okay,
there was a single
single
income household with 3 kids.
Yeah,
and 2 parents.
Well, anyway, the point is that I think it would do everybody some good to sit down and really think about the dark things that they've said or done in any situation, because we all know that every toxic situation is a two-way street in most cases. I'm not saying you need to. I'm not saying that you...
I mean, I literally just said that some of her behavior is probably from the way that our situation...
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Shook out. I mean, like...
Yeah.
So
that's exactly...
You're saying I need soul searching to
no.
see the thing that I'm already saying.
Yeah.
I'm confused by what you're saying now.
No. Well, I'm saying, like, if anybody comes out of a toxic situation and there's not words or situations or personal things that you did that you don't think about in that when you think back to those situations, I'm not saying necessarily you, I'm saying anybody. I think that what I've done in my own personal life has really helped me to see beyond my own. My rage came from that. My rage became, my anger issues growing up came from a place of, being self-conscious, but not being aware enough of what I'm doing and how I'm hurting people. And I think that we as men should be aware. I think that makes you a better man to know where you fucked up and can say that to yourself. I shouldn't have said this to her. I shouldn't have done this to this person, this friend, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Well, there's definitely things.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely regrets.
I'm not saying necessarily you. I'm saying everybody.
Yeah, but I can't talk on anybody else.
Right.
So, like,
Sure.
I know that there's definitely toxic things that happened between my ex and I that were, like, so out of character for both of us that we caused damage and ripples where we shouldn't have, or they were completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
And it's hard to think back to that stuff and it's painful to look back at that stuff and look at it objectively and be like, God damn, I really did that thing. I really like there was one instance where, like, we, she had cheated on me and, like, we fought and we broke up and then we got back together and then, like, I, like, bought food. I bought, like, Thai food.
Yeah.
And then she just, like, said something shitty, and I was just like, fuck you, and, like, threw the food on the ground. Like, I'm not buying you dinner.
Yeah.
It's like I forgot you were a lying, cheating whore for 5 fucking minutes, and I bought you a $30 meal.
Jeez.
And it's like, like, God, man, like, some of the shit that happened in our relationship is just, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, we went through a lot of shit. I mean,
you guys were young.
Yeah,
and neither one of you had much guidance growing up.
Well,
That's the biggest thing.
also the main thing is that we didn't get along. Like, we never got along. When we were friends before we started dating, we didn't get along. We never liked each other. Like, the whole that entire relationship was like, we're 15, we're 16 years old, and, like, you're gonna sleep with me. All right, cool. Let's I guess, will you be my girlfriend?
Right.
And then it was like, because I didn't want to stop getting laid. Like, as a teenager, like, I'm like, I got laid now. I don't want to stop getting laid, so I'll just date you.
Right.
And then we stayed together for 13 years. Like, how fucking dumb is that?
I think it's more common.
And we stayed in a relationship that, like, neither of us liked for all of our young adulthood.
Yeah.
Just to fucking try to make it work once we, had a kid.
Oh, I was gonna say too. I just saw something recently about being people with, like, emotional impairments, and they were talking about how that people with emotional impairments and some other mental health disorders tend to gravitate towards people that don't treat you well because you feel like you can, I don't want to say change them, but you feel like you're doing the world a favor by making a toxic or broken individual into a fixed individual. Not necessarily that you'll fix them.
Nope.
Yeah.
Completely disagree with that.
Well, I mean, this was a psychologist, but I mean, okay.
A psychologist on TikTok?
No, this was two psychologists on a podcast.
No, I don't. Okay, for me, no.
Yeah. Well,
for me, no.
It's not for everybody, right?
No, I think that's bullshit. I don't agree.
Well, it's not bullshit. These are two scientists, right, that have a podcast, and they were speaking on
and
a very
people
specific,
who have traumatic, who have emotional impairments look for people who are shitty to them because they want to fix them.
They won't let bad people go because they feel like those bad people will come around. Not that they can fix them, but that they can show them the better side of life, and that when that doesn't work out, it causes even more. It can cause even more emotional trauma, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that, man.
I don't know. I would say it adds up for me to some degree with some situations.
I mean, some of the shit. I mean, like when I think about my relationship with my ex, I mean, like I gave her a lot of grace where I probably shouldn't have. I mean, she crossed every single boundary there is.
Yeah.
Cheating, lying, stealing.
Sure.
I mean, it's just like every fucking.
But
single.
Can I just say something? I'm going to call you out a little bit, but I'm not going to be a dick about it. You guys both cross boundaries with everybody all the time.
I didn't cross.
You crossed a lot of boundaries with a lot of people.
In my relationship?
Well, just generally. I think like you.
Dude, talking shit is not the same thing as stealing.
No.
Talking shit is not the same thing as fucking somebody else.
Sure. I'm just saying like
talking shit and like being an asshole. Being an asshole, like to be funny, is not the same thing as like snorting Vicodins at work instead of like doing my job like she was doing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm going to work to pay bills. Are you? No, she's going there to fucking snort Vicodins and fuck her coworkers. Like that is not at all the same thing.
Okay. Sure. Yes, I agree with that. But I'm just saying, like, I think both of you had issues with boundaries. I'm not saying that specific scenario. Hers got a lot worse. You grew up and became a better man. I'm not saying you're the same story.
Yeah.
I'm saying that, like, you both came from a place of having very low boundaries. Or low understand. I don't know.
No.
Able to
with
push
what
boundaries.
you're saying with this whatever other podcast and them saying that like you're okay with people crossing boundaries because you want to fix them or whatever, that didn't apply to me. I don't know.
You just said that was.
I gave my ex grace because of the shit that she had been through.
Exactly. That's exactly.
It wasn't me trying to fix her.
I'm not saying they didn't say that you could fix them. That you would hope that they would turn around because they would see the. Remember how I always say that like, you're trying to create the family unit there? Like you really worked hard to make it a normal life.
Well, of course I did. I have kids.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. You weren't when issue 10 happened, right? That's what I'm saying. Why did it take 10 years for you to let that go? And then have also more kids with that person. I'm just saying, I don't think they're wrong. And I don't think they're wrong about any. I think it's more applicable than I even originally thought. The more I think about it, to be honest with you.
I don't know. I mean, like we broke up when we were 19. We had freshly had a kid, and everything was going wrong. We broke up. We got back together when we were 22, and things went well for like 5 years.
Right.
It wasn't misery from day one. It was. We had a good relationship, then we had a kid, and we had her mom died, we had all these responsibilities, like right now. We went from kids to adults with a kid, like right now. Yeah. And then shit fell apart because it was a lot of pressure. Yeah. And then things went really well until they went fucking south, and then things went horribly. It wasn't like 13 years of me trying to fix her or like it was like 3 years of being like, is this worth it anymore? Yeah. But I'm not going to you cannot make an impulsive decision when children are involved. I can't just be like,
no, I get that.
You're a bitch. I'm out.
Sure.
But if things never got to the extreme of cheating and stealing and lying and all the other shit that was going on, I don't think that we would have ever split up.
Yeah.
I think I would have just dealt with it because waking up with my kids every day was more important than being in a good relationship. That's why I slept on a couch for 3 fucking years.
Right. No, I get that.
You know?
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. So two psychologists sit down and go,
I'm not
broken
saying
people want to fix other broken people.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
okay,
also,
first of all, don't shut down the idea that.
No,
was
I'm not
like,
shutting it
I'm
down,
just-
but like for me,
I was trying to share, like you openly shared about you personally, the guy that's not a psychologist, that us 3 siblings have this specific disorder, which
it's not a
as
specific
someone who's been to a
disorder.
psychiatrist and a psychologist, that's never come up.
It's not
But I'm just saying that maybe you're right, and this is
being
why
emotionally
I think maybe.
being emotionally impaired is not a diagnosis.
Okay.
If I say something that you don't like and then you have emotions that you have a hard time getting past because of it, that's being emotionally impaired.
Okay.
All 3 of us.
Like what I just said about the 2 podcasts.
All 3 of us.
So we have it.
Yeah, dude.
Okay. So how
All
are we
3
gonna?
of us
How is
have
this
it.
podcast gonna land? We're just gonna be able
All
to mad
3
at
of
each other
us.
the entire time.
No, I'm not.
I'm
I haven't been.
kidding.
I'm not mad at all.
I'm kidding.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I just, for me personally,
I don't think it's applicable.
It's not applicable
Yeah.
to my relationship with
I'm
my
saying,
ex.
well, when I brought that up, I wasn't even thinking about you and her. I was thinking about specifically some situations I had been in. So
I mean, I'm not trying to. I don't spend my time trying to fix broken people. In fact,
yeah,
I would say that for me, I think recognition of broken people is part of being emotionally impaired or being traumatized or whatever you want to say.
yeah, you know it.
I think
Yeah.
like if I meet somebody and if they say 5 sentences to me at all, I immediately know if they're a liar, if they're a bad person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's something to be said about being around narcissists and being around liars and being around people that are abusive
Yeah,
that make you more able to recognize that stuff in people.
I think a lot of people are more narcissistic than, because there's this whole thing where a lot of people are like, oh, narcissism's so rare. I don't know, man. Have you seen this day and age? I don't know that it is. I think most people are extremely self-absorbed, unless they have kids and they're really good with their kids and they're really good with their family and whatever. It's kind of hard to, I don't know, man. I don't know. I also think mental illness is like, it's super dug into, and then you realize like it's really every symptom, and then you start realizing that all of these disorders kind of bleed into each other, which is really annoying. And you're like, all right, I get it, but and there's extreme versions of everything. But also, like,
is there like a fucking semi truck parked
there's
outside my house?
There's something out there. Yeah, I just saw something pull up.
Jesus Christ!
I
gotta pee.
Okay.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go pee in the yard and tell this guy to get fucked.
What are you gonna tell him? You can't park there. I'm doing a podcast, man. Sure, that's gonna go over well. Ugh.
There's a fucking convoy of like electrical workers driving by, like 3 giant crane trucks. Keep going. The power is on.
What are they testing everything?
I don't know. There's literally like 3 fucking diesel trucks driving by.
Yeah.
There's literally there's nothing over here that's out of power.
starting to get cold, eh? Yeah.
I was like, what is that fucking noise? Because all of a sudden there's like fucking, just like the fucking rumble of a diesel truck, and there's like a convoy of like 4 crane trucks. You hear that? The power is on. There's no reason these guys are parked outside of my house right now.
Someone said, hey, they're having a podcast. If you could, just drive them over here.
You just drive over here and just fucking idle and like have your air brakes fucking go on and off.
Yeah, that's fine.
Go away.
I mean, it's going to be slightly annoying in the... I don't know. It might not be that bad. But I get where you're coming from. And your situation's very... I don't want to keep talking about it, but I will say your situation's obvious. It's like anything, right? It's very specific. There's very specific details that led to everything. And I agree with you. I mean, I'm pretty much everything, But there's like... I don't really know. I'll be honest with you. The more I read and look into psychology, the more I'm like, but really? Like, I had a diagnosis years ago, and then I realized that, like, when things are going wrong, whether it's a job or a relationship or whatever, like, they're just not going well. There's a lot of problems. I mean, I'm talking a lot of stuff, not just a handful of things that everyone deals with. I'm talking like, okay, my job's at stake here. My relationship's at stake here. My livelihood's at stake here. Yeah, I fucking start feeling things. I start getting a little bit more angry. I start losing sleep. But fuck, dude, if that's everybody, dude. You have to be an absolute sociopath you have to be a sociopath to not be affected by normal shit. And so when I was sitting down, there was like, I would say I was like, I don't know, 5 or 6 months into going to therapy. I sat down with my therapist, and I'm like, I'm going to try and wean myself off of this meds because, it's not working, man. It's like, it's messing me up.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. And I feel fine I feel fine 12 hours after not taking it. And then when I take it again, I mean, obviously it takes time to build up in your system, but I'm like, I just don't like it. It's honestly made my lows 10 times lower. It's clearly not for me. And honestly, I don't think when looking back, I don't think the diagnosis was wrong, but I think that they nailed it on the head when they said that, like, I had a distress disorder, specifically speaking to circumstantial things happening in that moment. I don't think I think it was fine to be on meds in that moment, but those didn't work out. And I was on a couple different, variations of it just to stabilize my mood. I wasn't psycho. I wasn't getting all going off the rails. It was nothing like that. But coming off of them, I mean, you remember, like, I wanted to die. I never thought about death so much as I did coming off of a couple of those meds. And that scared me, and it made me realize, I said to myself, I will never be on something again. Never. There ain't nothing wrong with me bad enough to be on something that, if, God forbid, I couldn't get it for a month, I would probably end up killing myself. But you talked me off the ledge a handful of times. I was very close. And you know how psychotic one of my exes were? During that time, me and her were having a little bit of a bump in the road, and it wasn't because I was coming off these meds. It wasn't that. She's a nightmare. But I wanted to get off the meds because I wanted to be clear-minded while going through this difficult situation. And she purposefully left her gun at my house on my refrigerator for like a month. Like, just for no reason. There was no reason that she did, and I literally told her, I was like, why would you do that? Not saying I was going to, but, like, the thought was in my head all the time.
Yeah, she was playing games. She, like, honestly, if you would have done it, she would.
What a bad person, dude.
Yeah, no, she was playing games. She
That's
knew.
Not even a game.
No,
how do you
it
play
is
with
a
someone's
game.
life.
It is a game because she would have gotten attention for it. That's the kind of person she was.
Psycho.
She would have gotten attention
Disgusting,
for it.
dude.
Yeah, she would have gotten attention for it, and that's.
But anyways, I would have never done it.
It would have still been your choice, but
I would have never done it.
She would have left it. She left it there because she would have gotten attention for it. That's the kind of person she was. My kids are going to the window, like trying to get attention.
I know.
But,
that's okay when a kid does it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But anyway,
dude, we got to get off this negative shit. It's been like an hour of negative shit.
Sure. Yeah.
We got to.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how it led there, but it did.
God. So I've been on. So this is the first full week of being on Zepbound. I'm on Zepbound.
Yeah.
So like when me and Paige first started dating, I was doing really well with weight loss and dieting and stuff, and that was natural. You know, I wasn't taking any drugs to intervene. I was just eating clean and working out every day, and I felt great. But for whatever reason, we moved out here. And I hurt my knee, and so running, I was running every day. I was running like 3.5, 4 miles a day.
Yeah.
I couldn't run because I hurt my knee. And,
right.
and it took like 1.5 years to get my knee surgery approved.
Yeah.
And, man, I gained like 50 pounds, 60 pounds or something, like over 2 years.
Yeah, yeah.
And I tried to reset.
That's not negative though.
I tried to reset.
Just kidding. Sorry.
I tried to reset a few times. We restarted these diets. We started going to the gym, and then just something would happen.
Right.
Or, you know, like the kids come over, we have a party, whatever, and then like something just like kind of gets in the way of it. And for whatever reason, I just could not get myself to like fully reset and start over. So anyway, last week I took. Last time we recorded, which was last Saturday, I had taken Zepbound for the first time, and I was talking about like how different I felt about food for the first time in my life, and how things like how it was had changed like how I felt mentally about things, and no, it was real, man. In a week I lost 15 pounds,
right,
and I basically eaten.
You look more like you did I don't know, maybe a few months ago.
Yeah,
like you look different for sure.
Yeah,
already, but I think a lot of that's bloat. So that's the thing, is when you're eating like shit all the time, dude. Like right now I'm bloated because I like ass. I ate donuts, I ate McDonald's, I ate barbecue this weekend.
Yeah,
like, I could feel it in my neck. Like it's just, you know what I mean? Like it's just so much going on in there.
Dude,
like it's liquid. My whole body feels like a water bag right now.
Yeah, I mean, so that's the thing is with on this medication, I don't know what it does to my mind, but like I don't I have not only do I not have interest in bad foods, I have disdain for bad foods.
Doesn't it just alter the hormone that makes you feel satiated or whatever, or hungry?
That's the, I guess I would say, modality of it. Yeah, that's why it works.
Yeah,
but it shouldn't really fuck with anything mentally. I mean, it's like the hormone for feeling, you know, satiated is changed, and it makes you feel satiated. But mentally, like I have no interest. Not only not any interest, no interest in bad foods, but I feel disdain for bad foods. So like for the entire week, I was eating like significantly less food.
Yeah.
But I only wanted the good food.
Yeah.
You know, like I only wanted like eggs and like healthy meats, and like Paige's parents made us dinner one day, and I ate like half a steak, half like a 6-ounce steak.
Right.
I had half the steak and some salad, and like you know what I mean, and just like
that sounds
on a
daily
basis, I just want like the healthy shit that I put in my diet. And,
right.
I mean, I lost 15 pounds in a week, which is
awesome.
Which is crazy. I mean, like I did this 75 hard challenge where I didn't make it the full 75 days because I got engaged, and like if you fuck up on your 75 hard challenge, you have to start over.
Right.
And we went out and celebrated, and I was like 15 days in or something. But anyway, I was working out for 2 weeks. I was working out twice a day. I was dieting, and I was like really getting after it, like working my ass off for it. And I had gotten down to like, God, I don't know. I like my lowest that I got to working my ass off for 2 weeks, and I was already dieting and exercising before I started the challenge.
Yeah.
The lowest I got to was like 5 pounds heavier than I am right now, just taking Zepbound for a week. You know, so like,
wait, what does that mean? The lowest you got?
The lowest I got
5 pounds heavier than what you were. What? What does that mean? What did you say that again?
When I was doing what?
Was
okay, so
confusing
for
when you
like a
said
few
that.
weeks, I was dieting and exercising before I started this 75 hard challenge.
Oh,
the lowest I got during that period,
after 2 weeks,
is 5 pounds heavier than I am right now.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't
That's
think
the
you were
lowest
that
I got
fat
to.
even then. I don't know. Okay.
The lowest I got to. So I didn't jump back up, thank God, to the fucking fattest I'd been, because in like 2022, I got up to 320 pounds or 330 pounds.
I'm positive right now. By the way, I don't mean to interject, but I'm positive I'm up like 30, 40 pounds than I was like even just a couple months ago. But I think like being sick and then being off and then deciding like while I'm off, I'm just going to eat like a fat fuck and then getting a new job, all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. So I'm gonna dial it in this week, and then depending how things go over the next month, I think I might consider going on it. But I'm just really, I really wish I could just do it without meds.
So we've talked about this. Is like you have a mental quirk the same way that I did. Is that we both were like, I don't want to be on a medication. I don't want to have to be on a medication.
Yeah.
But we have been fighting with our weights for 20 years.
Yeah.
We've been dieting and exercising on and off for 20 years.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, I'm chubby. Oh, I'm fat. Oh, I'm obese. And it's like, oh, what do? I don't know. I got to lift again. And then I hurt myself. And then I'm like, my diet falls off. And then, oh, I'm starving myself. This is working. Cool.
Right.
But it's like even when we are dieting, like for me specifically, like I know when I'm dieting, like it's the only thing I think about.
Yeah.
Like when I'm dieting and I am being disciplined about it.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm thinking about is the fact that I want to eat more than I'm getting to eat.
Yeah.
And being on this medication, that thought is not even a consideration.
That's kind of cool, man.
I'm not sitting there thinking like, oh, I want to eat.
That's what Mom said too.
I want to eat, but I can't. I want to
She's
eat,
on
but
it.
I can't. I want to eat, but I can't. That's not my thoughts when I'm on this. I just don't want it.
Yeah.
I just don't want it. When I would normally eat at least 3 meals a day, and I would snack. And like when I'm sitting there, like during the week when I'm on this medication, I don't. Not only do I have no interest in snacking.
Yeah.
And when I eat my regular meals, I'm eating half of what I put on my plate.
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh, I'm starving myself so I can lose weight. It's like I literally am just like my body just is like, this is enough.
Yeah.
And I've dropped 15
So
pounds.
why is it that this med
15 pounds in a week?
Right, yeah. Why is it that this med does this, but like we don't do it naturally?
I don't know. I read Johan Hari's book, Magic Pill, which is about Ozempic and Wegovy.
Yeah.
But it's all the same. It's all GLP-1.
Right. Antagonist or whatever, or agonist.
And that's one of the considerations in the book. His father is Swiss, and his father grew up eating, like it was like actually farm to table. Like if they wanted meat, they'd go out and kill the thing and eat it right away. Whatever. That's the way he made it sound anyway.
Okay.
It's like if we want vegetables, we go pick the vegetables, we process the vegetables, we cook the vegetables, and we eat the vegetables. You know, so like that's the kind of life that his dad lived. But then he grew up in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
Where it was like microwave food was the new thing, and like fast food was the new thing. So that's all he ate.
Yeah.
Because his mom was, I think, Welsh or Irish or something, and she was all about like convenience or whatever.
Right.
You know, so she like her the way that she fed him was all about convenience and ease, and the way her dad wanted to feed him was like all about like doing the right things.
Yeah.
And so why is it that when someone who does have food noise and is obese switches to the correct foods, which is fruits, vegetables, meats, nuts, healthy fats, how come when someone switches to the correct foods, that food noise doesn't go away? I don't know.
See, I
don't know, because
I don't
when
know
I
that.
eat,
Well, I mean, for me, I'll just say anecdotally for me, I don't know that I ever had food noise. Like eating healthy, I don't have food noise, but I like junk food. I don't need to have it all the time. I can have it once a month.
it's not even about junk food. I think people really overestimate how much junk food matters.
Right. No, okay.
It's not junk food.
Sure, whatever. But I'm just saying,
It's
like,
volumes of food.
sure, but like, okay, yeah.
You don't get to be 300 pounds eating a healthy volume of food.
Sure, probably not. More than likely not.
Definitely not.
In most cases, yeah.
In all cases, you don't.
Yeah.
You're not eating. In all cases, you're not eating a healthy amount of food
Well, I'll tell you.
and being 300 pounds.
Sure, but I'm also okay. So I'm 300 pounds. I'm definitely not. Lately, I've been eating like shit. I started losing some weight, but like I would say over the last year, my caloric intake and I'm someone who's also tracked my calories. I don't do it all the time, but I definitely have. So I know what food looks like. I know what calories look like. I know I had 2,000 calories in donuts this morning, probably. I mean, I'm well aware of that. But like, that's not a normal circumstance. And like, the only time I ever lost weight was in a massive, severe deficit to where it was like unbearable.
That's food noise. That's what I'm saying. When you're like, I have to eat, I'm going to go crazy, I'm starving.
Yeah.
That's food noise. It's not your head is going, eat, 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 eat. It's just like you don't feel satiated eating a regular amount of food. You and I cannot maintain.
What is a regular amount of food calorically?
2,000 calories a day is a lot for our bodies.
Okay.
We both know that our bodies are efficient. For whatever reason, we put on weight very easily.
Yeah. Well, I put on 30 pounds in like a month.
You and I probably should be eating 1,700 calories a day.
Or less.
Or
probably less. I did a strict 1,500 calorie a day diet for 3 months, and I lost maybe 10 pounds.
Okay,
hold on. But if I couple that with weightlifting and a lot of exercise, like I'm talking 2 hours, 5 days a week, I'll drop weight super fast. However, the only time I've done it to where I didn't require a ton of exercise is half of those calories. So I'm talking like 800 calories a day, and I could drop weight, which is a miserable existence, but also probably feasible.
That's food noise.
Okay, but it's also one of those things where, as a big person, you don't really need much of a caloric intake, because you have such a.
If you had 5% body fat and then you were eating 800 calories a day, it'd be a problem.
Exactly. Right.
But you have a reserve of calories around your entire body.
Exactly.
Where
100%.
you could live off of 800 calories a day.
Yeah.
And survive
and lose the proper amount of weight
over a few years.
Right.
It would take a few years of eating 800 calories a day for you to lose the weight.
Not necessarily.
And then
I mean, maybe now.
No.
Probably now I would. When I was younger, not at all.
That's okay. It would take a few years if we drop down to what we were told we should be, which is probably like 180 pounds for our height.
Yeah. So when I was 21, let's talk about real situational things. When I was 21, I was 320 pounds, and I lost 100 pounds in 3 months. And I ate salmon patties, and I still ate pasta like once a week and stuff, because obviously I was dating someone who was like obsessed with Italian food. But I still ate pasta like once a week, but my main diet was primarily a couple salmon patties, and like that's pretty much it. Salmon patties and protein shakes, and I took a lot of like back in the day when like Excedrin was still a thing, I would take Excedrin every day too to like speed up my metabolism. It was like
Excedrin? You're saying the wrong name.
No, well that was the name of
Excedrin is the migraine medication.
Oh, it is. What the hell am I talking about? Xenadrine.
Xenadrine? I don't know that one.
Yeah, it's not on the market anymore. Look it up. Yeah. They took it off the market because people were dying of heart attacks. So it's probably good that I had to stop taking it. But I'll tell you what, man, I lost a ton of weight super quick. It had ephedrine in it. That's why. I think it did anyway.
Xenadrine. Why you don't want to use Xenadrine?
Well, it's not. I mean, I don't think it exists anymore anyway.
Xenadrine is a supplement company best known for its dietary weight loss products. They claim these supplements boost metabolism, energy, and helping you lose weight when dieting and exercising. Xenadrine has 2 primary weight loss formulas: Xenadrine Clear and Xenadrine Pure. According to
new stuff, though.
According to the markers, these weight loss supplement, the key ingredient in these products is alpha lipoic. How would you say that?
I don't know.
Lipoic acid. ALA.
Yeah. Okay.
The claim is that ALA breaks down carbs, proteins, and fats. The role of curcumin is unclear. The weight loss supplements also contain other active ingredients.
Yeah, that's now.
Okay, no, this is old. This is an old article.
But I'm pretty sure it used to have ephedrine, because ephedrine was going over the counter for a while. Then it became prescription. Then now it's illegal. I think Xenadrine used to have ephedrine or something similar to it, something comparable. And now it's all holistic shit. Really, it's all like snake oil shit, because they have to keep the brand going, right? But it used to be a real supplement that had real shit in it. Had something in it. I don't know. I think it was ephedrine, but I could be wrong.
Ephedra alkaloids.
Yeah.
Coronary thrombosis related to the use of Excedrin. Okay. So, all right. So you were taking that
Yeah.
while you were exercising, and
And
you said you lost 100 pounds. Though
I lost 100 pounds in 3 months.
You were
Ask Mom.
200 pounds.
Yeah. I was 320 pounds and I got down to 210 pounds in 3 months.
Is that right before your wedding?
No, I was just when I was just starting to talk to my ex.
Okay.
It was
I
like
remember
right
you
before we got
dropping a lot of
together.
weight, but you were also like working out like a fucking psycho. You'd like work out all day. You'd be on the elliptical at home like all day.
Yeah, I was kind of going too much. I worked out so much I would develop these like blood blisters all over my body. It was kind of fucked up.
Blood blisters
Yeah,
from
these
working
not
out?
blood blister, but something like cysts that would pop and just bleed.
Gross.
Yeah. I asked Mom, and she's like, I don't know what that is. You might want to talk to the doctor.
Is that related to the working out? I've never heard of that in my life.
I don't know. But I had them. That was because I was just running constant. It was in my shins, in my lower legs. I was developing cysts like in the skin. It might have been like an extreme folliculitis because like I was basically sweating profusely like 3 times a day because I was working out 3 times a day. But no one should have to work that hard to fucking lose weight
No.
anyway. It's insane.
I mean, it's
And it also fucked my head up.
yeah. It becomes an addiction. It becomes a new addiction.
It was just, I don't know, maybe
It
crazy.
becomes a new addiction. This says blood blisters during workouts, especially on feet, are caused by friction and pressure, sometimes damaging small blood vessels under the skin, leading to fluid and blood accumulation. To prevent them, focus on proper fitting shoes and socks. I mean, I could see that. I
didn't get them on my feet though. I got
Where'd
them
you
on
get
my
'em?
shins, my legs and my calves, my shins and
that's
calves.
weird. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I'm gonna look up.
The only thing I could think of is maybe I was wearing compression socks because I was running so much. I needed something so it didn't hurt as bad.
It just says it's caused from friction and trauma on
The only
small
thing
blood vessels.
maybe at that time I was using compression socks.
Yeah, that's probably what was causing them.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I had to have been doing something.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make sense because even Mom was like, I don't know what the hell that's from. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Talked to the doctor. He's like, oh, I don't know. We're just trying to just make sure like. I'm like, well, I'm working out because I was working and working out like 3 times a day,
Yeah.
right?
That's
I
a
don't know, it's just
miserable
too much.
existence, dude. Like I like working out, but I don't want to have to
Yeah.
work out 3 times a day. That's stupid. That's
Yeah.
not sustainable.
I would say if I'm not working out that hard, but I could probably lose. I would say I could lose. I think I could personally lose. I don't know. I think realistically, because right now I think I'm mostly bloated because my diet has went from hummus and peppers and the occasional cookie and like occasional binge night to like eating junk food and DoorDash and shit for 3 weeks.
I think but I do think that
I was losing a lot of weight.
I think the average 2 years ago you were probably my size.
2 years ago?
2 years ago. When me and Paige 3 years ago now. When me and Paige first started dating, there's a video of me and you at the gym that we took.
Oh yeah, well I was working out like crazy.
and
then.
you're like probably 275 pounds.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
And but for the last 2 years, pretty consistently, you've been around 300 pounds, if not heavier. So I don't know what's different, but I don't think you should.
Well, the last 2 years, my job. I'll be honest with you. The last 2 years, my job has been extremely inactive. I pretty much was programming.
Yeah, but you don't want to put yourself in. You shouldn't have to put yourself in a position of I need to burn these calories by walking around and working out every day, all day, to be able to not be
my
fucking
caloric.
300 pounds.
But I also dieted. I fluctuated a lot. We didn't. I don't know. I fluctuated a lot. I would say a month, maybe a month and a half ago, I was definitely probably closer to 280, 290.
a month ago,
Month and a half
there's
ago.
no fucking way.
Month and a half ago.
There's no way.
You don't think so?
There's no way. No. There's no way. There's no way. You have been. I think you have been consistently bigger than me. Not significantly bigger than me, but I think you've been consistently bigger than me for at least a year.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way. There's no way.
I was just losing. There was a time right before I moved in my new place that I dropped a ton of weight out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I was closer to I would say maybe 290. I'm confident because right now,
You've dropped weight from where you were. You got big for a few months there.
yeah, I mean it's happened many times.
But this is what I'm saying is I like genetically.
I mean, this is the thing. Also, I was thinking about this the other day. I've had a very there's a couple of different things about, and this isn't excuses, but I just want to throw this out there because we have to understand the dynamics between you and I.
Uh-huh.
Like, I haven't had an active job in the last 2 years. I mean, very rarely did I have to do much physical labor.
Yeah.
Very rarely. Before that, it was better, depending. If you notice, if you look at the trends, the jobs I've had where I've had the least physical activity at, mind you, I'm someone who works 60, 70 hours a week, a lot. That's a big chunk of your week, dude. And then who's going to want to make up all that missed time of being active after that? Anyway, the jobs, anytime I've had a job where I've been pretty inactive,
Can you grab the other half?
I've
of
gained 40, 50 pounds. Yeah.
that? We're gonna try to lift and bring that over because it's
you-
getting cold.
I
I
would like
want to
you
hear this. I want to hear this.
I'm cold as fuck. Anytime I've had a job where it wasn't very active.
I'm not trying to distract you, but I'm so cold. Dude, that's so much better
Yeah,
already.
that's great. Fucking dickhead. You planned this.
I didn't plan anything. I just want to be warmer. That's so much warmer.
I gain like 40, 50 pounds every time. And then when I have a more active job, I'll start losing a ton of weight because I'll start working out a ton to try to mitigate that.
That might have been a mistake.
But working out a ton is not doable when you're putting in the hours I put in. It's doable, but it's so hard to maintain that because everything's happened. You get sick, you get hurt, you get injured, whatever, or you just have a really tough time at work.
Chris, this is what I'm saying.
Hold on, stop. I'm not finished. So every time I have you, on the other hand, have an active job. You also have 3 kids to chase around. Okay. I've also been super into weightlifting in my entire life. So when I get big, and because the skinniest I've ever been was 220, which is a big guy, and I was fit.
Dude, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying is that you should not have to work out and diet like a psycho to be a regular weight. And and I think this is what this drug. I'm just making sure that this fire is not melting our fucking boom
I hope not.
stands because it is hot now, but it feels so good. It feels so good though. This
Right.
heat over here. This is exactly what I'm saying though. Is like you're like, well, dude, my job's not as active as your job is, and I do this and I do that, and this is exactly what I'm saying. Is you should not have to work out like a psycho,
No,
and you should not have to exercise and diet like a psycho to be a regular weight.
Yeah.
I think genetically I think our bodies evolved to be starving. Honestly, I mean, like when I think about the amount of food that I've eaten in the last week, I'm like, dude, I would have eaten at least quadruple the amount of food I ate.
Yeah.
Just because of like my nature.
Right.
But being on this drug, I have eaten a quarter of what I would normally eat, and I've dropped a good amount of weight. But I think it's like at this amount of food, I think is sustainable.
Yeah.
And I don't think that just because I'm a pipe fitter and you're a machinist, that justifies a 50-pound difference.
No.
us.
Well, that's a huge. By the way, that generic statement right there has nothing to do with what I was saying. There's a big difference between being a machinist that primarily programs and being a machinist that's in and out and up and down and wrenching on shit all
Sure.
day.
Yeah. I get that.
I'm just saying.
But I'm
that's
saying
a huge
your
difference. That is 10
the-
hours. That's 50 hours, 60 hours a week. That's or more.
You shouldn't have to do that to have a healthy body. That's what I'm saying.
Sure. Okay.
You shouldn't have like your body being
okay.
a
but
good
what you're
weight
not
shouldn't
thinking-
have to be
I agree with that. But what-
burning thousands of calories a day in climbing and stooping.
Sure, I agree with that. But my point is that I've been doing this shit for almost 20 years, or at least in manufacturing for almost 20 years, with a physical job. So I'm used to eating to at least 2,000 calories a day, when really I should be eating probably 1,000 just to lose the fucking weight or less, right? My point is that I agree. Like, I think Ozempic is the way to go, personally. I just don't like the idea of being on meds. It's something I really have to be comfortable with before I start it. So I'm going to think about it. I'm going to do research. I'm going to read a book.
I mean, listen, I'm not trying to sell you on it.
No, I know.
I'm
but
just saying,
but
our bodies are similar enough that
Yeah.
I think that it's working really well for me, and I
Yeah.
think it would be. I would think it would work really well for you.
Sure. I think, well, yeah, it's definitely going to work. Anytime I'm not eating a bad diet, I lose weight. Like,
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, a month and a half ago, when I moved into my place,
Yeah.
I ate nothing but, I was like, I need to lose a ton of weight. So I just started eating like hummus, guacamole, like veggies. And I'm talking, like, if you open my fridge, it looked like I was a vegan. I just started eating, like, I didn't even eat meat like the first.
Yeah. How long did that last? Because, first of all, is that sustainable? And did it work?
No. It started, yeah, it started. I'm just saying, like, anytime, the whole point is that anytime I knew that doing what I've done the last 3 weeks, I was going to gain 30, 40 pounds. It happens every time. I know every time I fall off the rails, I blow up like a balloon. If I diet for a week, I'm going to drop without Ozempic. If I go back to my veggies and hummus, I guarantee you by next weekend, I'm going to wake up on Saturday or Sunday and weigh myself and be 10, 15 pounds down.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm bloated as fuck. Like, my arms are even like look like balloons because I'm just so full of fluid right now because I've had more salt in the last 3 weeks than I've had in this entire year.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right, but
And cholesterol and saturated fats.
To round everything off,
Yeah.
and I said this to you in private on the phone.
Okay.
Is we're getting to the age where being obese is now gonna. We're getting to the age where being obese is now gonna start having consequences and serious ones.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I agree
is
with
it
that.
sustainable? Like this, like what Mike Israetel says about this
Yeah.
is that, like, can you just use sheer willpower to lose weight? Sure, you can put
Yeah.
sheer willpower into starving yourself and into working out like a savage.
Mm-hmm.
But why would you do that?
Right. Does he talk about Ozempic? Have
Why
you ever
would
seen it?
why
I
would
follow
why
his channel,
this,
but I haven't seen
this is what I'm quoting.
it. Okay.
Would he? Well, this
You
is
should
what
have
I- this
prefaced
is-
with that.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He talks, if you can put sheer willpower into losing weight and sheer willpower into dieting, but if you can use a drug that helps you with that,
Yeah.
lose weight, to minimize your like caloric intake, then you get to use that willpower for things that matter.
Right.
Like, you can use your willpower to build businesses. You can use
Yeah.
your willpower to do things that you want to do, enjoy. You can use your willpower instead of like your bandwidth being used to focus on your diet and focus on exercising
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and
yeah.
suffering to like only
Yeah.
for this one thing.
I did watch that. I did watch that episode.
Then you could
Yeah.
use your willpower and your effort
Right.
into things that you enjoy, like music.
Right. Right.
You know, so like, and of course I'm whatever, like I'm paraphrasing
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
he
That's
said,
pretty.
but
It's
like,
pretty on point though.
but like,
I remember.
but like, why you like if our nature is to be
Yeah.
fucking obese? I don't know why.
yeah.
Nature, nurture, fucking genetics. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. But I do know that we have been fighting to not be obese our entire fucking lives.
Yeah.
And this is the first time where I was not losing, where I was losing weight and it wasn't sheer fucking willpower and force. Where I'm
Right.
like,
Right.
I'm going to hyper focus on this
Yeah.
and nothing else matters. And I can't think or talk about anything else
Yeah.
because I'm
Is there
in
any-
weight losing mode.
I gotta read about it. As long as there's not issues with brain fog or
There is no issues with brain fog.
I don't know. That's my biggest concern.
There's no issues with brain fog.
Yeah. Because I know a lot of times when I'm dieting, like I get real tired. I get real brain, like my brain gets weird.
There's no issues with brain fog for me.
Yeah.
I've had no issues with brain
But that
fog.
could be the hormonal imbalance that makes us overeat too. There's a lot of. We've never been thoroughly diagnosed with anything in our lives, pretty much, in my opinion. And the more I read about obesity, the more I'm like, dude, there's like, it's so annoying because a physician's never going to recommend like to be tested for some of these things that they've known about for years. But there's people with like dopamine issues where like their hunger, the reason their hormones don't ever make them feel satiated is because they have such low dopamine, and in order for that dopamine to be created, they have to constantly have
This-
like there's like weird
in the
these weird things
in the magic in The Magic Pill, which is the book by Johann Hari,
Yeah.
he talks about how the reward centers in our brain, which is the dopamine receptors, are affected by taking GLP-1 agonists.
Yeah.
So now they're even looking into Ozempic, Wegovy, Zepbound, all these GLP-1 agonists to treat addiction issues in,
Mom just
in
said
people
that
that
too,
are in people
Alcoholics and stuff.
that are alcoholics, that abuse opiates, and that are gambling addicts.
Interesting.
So I think there is something where
So you're saying that like when I'm dieting, it's sheer willpower. That is not the natural state of my brain. And I agree with that. And now that we're talking about it and I look at it from that point of view, I think there's really no other option.
yeah,
It's live a short life and not be miserable, or diet and live a miserable life because your whole identity has to become that to sustain it.
being on this drug doesn't feel like dieting.
That's wild. Fuck.
It doesn't feel
That's too good, man.
It doesn't feel anything like dieting. But here's the caveats. The real caveat of this
Yeah.
drug. You're 7 times more likely to develop thyroid cancer than the general population.
Yeah.
The asterisk to that statement is that thyroid cancer is incredibly rare, and 84% of the people that develop thyroid cancer survive it.
Right.
Those numbers come from the general public that were these numbers come from a diabetic community
Yeah.
that have been treated with Ozempic for 20 years.
Damn, it's been around that long?
There has not been people taking Ozempic for weight loss for 20 years. There have been diabetics taking Ozempic to treat their diabetes and their
okay.
sugar levels for 20 years. So
Interesting.
that population is 7 times more likely to develop thyroid cancer than the general population.
Yeah.
There is something to be considered there.
Okay, so this is what I wish it was. Can I be honest? Can I just throw something out there? Oh, finish your thought because I have some ideas about this.
There's a few caveats to this drug. It's
Yeah.
not nothing is for free.
Yeah.
Taking this drug after reading the book,
Yeah. Oh, I'm loud.
after reading the book, I feel that the risks of being over 30 and being obese for most of my life so far
Yeah.
far outweigh the risks of taking the drug itself.
Sure. Yeah.
Being 7 times more likely to develop thyroid cancer, that's a risk.
Yeah.
That's scary. But also, thyroid cancer is rare, and
Yeah.
people that do develop it, 84% of the people beat it.
Right. Right.
The other caveat is sometimes the addiction to food is replaced with addictions to other things.
Yeah.
They don't know why. They're studying it now, but there was one specific anecdotal case that was
Yeah.
cited in the book where the man was 400 plus pounds for most of his adult life.
Yeah.
He got on Ozempic. He lost 200 pounds. He was fit and healthy for the first time in his life, but he couldn't help himself but drink himself drunk every single day after work. And anyway,
Yeah, but that's a lot of calories too, though. Drinking alcohol, or is it different?
it ended in a suicide. So I don't, whatever.
Oh, okay.
That case ended in a suicide because
Yeah.
his wife left him because he kept driving himself home drunk, and that puts people at risk. And she was
Right.
like sick of it. But there's one anecdotal story about a guy who's been on Ozempic to lose the weight, drank himself drunk every day after work, and ended up losing everything because he couldn't help himself. It's one anecdotal story.
Unfortunately, he wasn't alive to tell the story. It could have been that his wife was making him miserable. You know,
Could be.
being honest here,
Could be.
it's possible.
It doesn't, but that's,
You know.
but the thing is that there is a consideration to be taken when you consider that maybe the addiction for food is going to be replaced with an addiction for something else.
Yeah.
If you can't reward yourself in your dopamine with food and snacking and hitting all those dopamine receptors by eating candy and overeating on things that we enjoy.
Right,
like I know
right.
I love meat. I can't overeat on meat anymore.
Yeah.
So if something clicks in my mind where I'm like, I can't hit those dopamine receptors by doing that anymore, I'm going to hit those dopamine receptors by overindulging in something else. That's a consideration.
Yeah.
Right?
I think the only thing I've ever really fully been, because I don't think I was ever, I want to talk about addiction a little bit, because I feel like I was never really fully, I think alcohol a little bit, for sure. There's definitely like a good stint of my life that I was going to the bar all the time. And then I weaned myself off, and like I'm having a drink now, but like it's gonna be the only drink I have probably till next podcast. We tend to just have a couple drinks on the podcast. I don't need it. I don't really like it, like too much of it. Like I had a couple beers and sipping on something.
Well, but also you smoke cigarettes for a long time.
Yeah.
You smoke a vape. now.
Yeah.
I smoke cigars once in a blue moon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which it's been 2 podcasts in a
The
row
only-
now, but
the
I'll
only-
fall off of it for like 6 months.
The
where
only
don't
reason I
want
like
it.
the Breeze, so I went like full nicotine free, and honestly, dude, nicotine dials me in, man.
I do like that.
It
That's why I
dials
like.
me
That's
the
why I like
fuck
smoking a
in.
cigar during the podcast.
I almost considered smoking cigarettes. I wouldn't because I don't want to die young, but like I thought about many times like smoking cigarettes again because like it was so easy to maintain even just being slightly overweight versus being like obese, smoking cigarettes, and also getting that nicotine. Like Breeze doesn't stop any of the food shit. Whereas like smoking cigarettes, like you could be like, cool, I had like a snack. Cool, I'm gonna smoke a cigarette though and have my beer. You know
it's
what I
that
mean?
little reward. It's that
Yeah,
5-minute reward.
It's a little bit more probably because of the poison in it. Somehow it releases some shit in your body.
Yeah.
Like just the Breeze.
I love
doesn't-
cigarettes. I smoked
Yeah.
cigarettes for
Yeah,
probably
I don't
10,
like how I
probably
smell
10
now.
years.
I
But-
smell people at work that smell like cigarettes or cigars. I get grossed out, but you know, so I couldn't.
But
do
I
it.
do. But to circle back to the whole
Yeah.
taking drugs for weight loss, I do think that the risks of being obese far outweigh the risks of taking the weight loss medications.
Yeah,
You know, and the way that these work are so different than the weight loss drugs of the past.
yeah,
You know, it's not like we're taking fen and we're gonna have a fucking heart attack or a coronary or
Yeah.
something. This is a naturally occurring hormone, and the way that these hormones are manipulated to last a week instead of last a few hours.
yeah.
That's the way it's been manipulated. You know, and there are risks, but
doesn't sound that
we're
bad.
getting to the age
Yeah.
now where like joint problems and
Yeah.
health problems and
Yeah.
health problems, heart problems
Yeah.
and sugar problems and all
Right.
that stuff's going to start being real fast.
Well, that's what
When we get into, like
who was it that-
45 is an age where people just fucking drop dead
Yeah,
from this
that's
shit.
true.
Drop dead from
Yeah.
living the way that we've lived for 20 years. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
it's getting to the point where it needs to be taken seriously. And I have tried to lose the weight with sheer willpower and
Yeah.
it doesn't work. It doesn't
Yeah.
work. So if I can take a drug,
It's unsustainable is really the issue.
unsustainable
it
is
works,
the right
but
way to
it's
say
fucking
it.
hard.
It works, but it's difficult
And it's
as
hard on your
fuck.
body.
It's the only thing to think
like,
about.
imagine being 300 pounds and be like, I have to run and lift weights constantly to get down to 200 pounds, which is still kind of heavy.
And not only that, but you
and
have
so you
to,
have this fucking year span maybe or 2 year span of fucking destroying your body and your joints, being obese and doing too much being obese.
Here's another thing.
Yeah.
If you and I were twins
Yeah.
and you only have ever weighed 200 pounds,
Mhm.
which would be overweight still, but
Yeah.
if say that you were 200 pounds and I had gotten up to 330 pounds and I was like, I need to get back down to 200 pounds to feel healthy,
Yeah.
I would have to eat 20% less calories than you to be able to maintain 200 pounds.
Oh, right, because the body
If
just
you had ne-
naturally adapts.
If you
to
had never been
fat
over,
storage.
yeah, if you had
Yeah.
never been,
that I agree with.
if you had only ever been 200 pounds,
yeah.
and I had gained 100 pounds more than that,
Yeah.
and I lost to get back down
I
to the
think-
same weight,
yeah.
I'd have to eat 20% less calories than you forever.
Yeah, I remember someone saying that I don't know what part of the brain it was exactly, but there's when you become overweight or to a certain level of being big, the brain, there's this thing in your brain, if you're at that weight for I don't know, whatever period of time it might be, like the brain rewires itself to believe that that is normal. Not because of the food intake, not because of the hormones. It's like the brain just goes.
They talk about this in the book.
Do they?
They talk about this
Do you
in the
know
book.
specifically like the
I don't know
part
the
of brain?
modality
Is
of
it
it. I
is
don't
it the
know,
hippocampus or
I don't know, but he just
hippocampus?
talks about generally that the body adjusts to this is the new normal.
yeah,
Like your body has a set point,
yeah,
and your body adjusts this set point.
right,
And he said the odd thing about this is that your body doesn't do that with like temperature.
yeah,
You know, like if you were in the Sahara Desert, your body wouldn't be like, it's normal to be 100 degrees.
Right.
No, you're 98.7 degrees.
right,
But for whatever reason with weight, your body has a new set point and it really doesn't like losing weight.
Yeah,
Your body
yeah.
really does not like losing weight.
yeah.
So it takes a long time for your body to adjust to a lower weight.
So there's no depression issues. It just takes away. It increases satiety. Satiety. It reduces the.
It doesn't take it away. It gives you satiety. You feel satiated.
That's what I meant. I'm sorry. I meant to say it takes away ghrelin or whatever that hormone that makes you hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It mitigates all these things, and without issues of depression, a slight risk of maybe some cancers. But name a pill in the market right now that doesn't have that. I'd be surprised.
There's also never been a direct correlation. It's only shown. It's shown that there's an increased risk based versus the general population.
Right. Well, if most
but
of
also
the studies
this general population
that are taking it
has all been people with diabetes.
I was just going to say that. Yeah. I mean, I think it's safe to say that anybody with an issue with metabolism, right, including blood sugar, that's a big part. It is a part of metabolic syndrome. People who have a severe case of metabolic syndrome, which is really what diabetes is, I would imagine their thyroids would be overworking in some way, right? Something's going on that could lead to this.
Diabetes is incredibly damaging to the person that has it.
I watched this. You know what's interesting?
Extremities, eyes.
This is off subject a little bit, but we'll go back to it. It's still in the same lane. I learned something really interesting about cancer a long time ago. I was watching this documentary, and they were talking about, it was like an animal. It was like a National Geographic. And they were talking about this pack of wolverines, right? And this pack of wolverines had this, because they somehow developed this gene that made it easy to develop cancer, but only if they were injured. So they would develop this, and they were studied, I think, for this. And I don't remember exactly. It might not be wolverines. I'm thinking wolverines. This is like 20 years ago. Okay. It might be inaccurate, but it's still information that I know to some extent.
Okay.
Yeah, look it up. And they found that this specific group of animals were super prone to cancer, but only if it got attacked, they would develop tumors, and then that cancer would spread throughout their bodies and kill them. So it's interesting, and the reason it was genetically, the genetics specifically for these animals was, I think, inbreeding, which most animals in the wildlife, especially like rodent-esque animals tend to inbreed a lot, which leads to a lot of health problems. Anyway, but it was an interesting fact that they were genetically predisposed to cancer, but it was injury to the body or organ or whatever it was that would cause the cancer to develop. And so I thought that was really interesting, because it's like there's some kind of issue with the DNA there. There's something genetic there to cancer. I mean, we obviously all know there's something genetic to cancer, obviously, but it's but I would say that like diabetic people are always injured. Do you see what I'm saying? Like the problem with diabetes is that it's affecting your blood vessels, it's affecting your organs, it's affecting your brain. I think your odds of getting dementia are like a lot higher because dementia is even just it's really like they call it now. Some doctors, I mean, it's not, I don't know if it's well known or if it's bullshit, I don't know, but I've heard some doctors call it diabetes of the brain. So it's just like a sugar issue, a glucose issue of the brain.
So this
did you find anything on this?
So what I found is integrative biology of injury in animals. Mechanical injury is a prevalent challenge in the lives of animals with myriad potential consequences for organisms, including reduced fitness and death. Research on animal injury has focused on many aspects, including the frequency and severity of wounding in wild populations, the short and long-term consequences of injury at different biological scales, and the variation in the response to injury within or among individuals, species, onto genes, I don't know how to say that, environmental context. However, relevant research is scattered across diverse biological subdisciplines, and the study of the effects of injuries has lacked synthesis and coherence. Furthermore, the depth of knowledge across injury biology is highly uneven in terms of scope and taxonomic coverage. Much injury research in biomedical focus.
I don't know if this is not.
I'm trying to find like where keywords: autonomy, cost, damage, trade-offs, integrative biology, mechanical injury, physiology, regeneration, wound healing. So wound healing? I don't know.
That's not gonna
Injury in nature.
This is like super specific. I mean, the example I had was from a documentary that was super specific to a specific wildlife in a specific country region. I mean, to even find anything about it, I think it'd be maybe difficult to find, especially because this is something I seen like 20 years ago. But I found it really interesting, and I know I held on to some of it because like I was like, it's interesting that like how serious the genetic aspect of it is, but it's not just the genetic aspect, it's the injury to the body, and it's a response. And actually I just saw a podcast where a guy said that cancer is actually the body trying to prevent, like trying to take injury to the DNA or the cells and trying to isolate it. And then what happens is that, you know, it can leach into, you know, once it gets to your lymphatic system, it just spreads, right? That's the problem with it. But to me, I guess just going on the point that most of these studies are on diabetics who are basically whose bodies are consistently injured in some way, it would make sense that when things are overworking, when blood vessels are being restricted, when blood vessels are being damaged by high sugar in the blood, you know, I don't know. It makes more sense that they're prone to more diseases, you know, specifically cancer.
There isn't a known animal that has a gene causing cancer specifically when injured, but there are some species where injuries can lead to higher risk of cancer due to biological quirks. One interesting case is dogs, particularly large breeds, are more prone to developing bone cancer.
Okay.
Osteocarcinoma. Bone
Yeah.
cancer after bone injuries or microfractures. However, this isn't a direct injury causes cancer mechanism. It's more about the way their bones respond to trauma. Another example is devil facial tumor disease, DFTD, in Tasmanian devils.
That's what it was.
It spreads.
Shit. Sorry.
Spreads through biting, which is common through.
This is exactly it. Yep.
Which is
Not
common.
Wolverines.
Okay, so another example is devil facial tumor disease, DFTD, in Tasmanian devils. It spreads through biting, which is common in their aggressive social interactions.
Yeah.
While the disease isn't caused by their own genes, the act of being injured, bitten, significantly increases the risk of developing the cancer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. So it doesn't have to do with their genes, though?
It doesn't have to do with their genes. It has to do with the disease.
So it has to do
The
with...
disease causes the...
It's a disease, or is it...
Spreads through biting. Spreads
Oh,
through
it's
biting.
actually a disease that causes... Well, then
The di- well, the
I
disease-
didn't know it all.
Well, if it's old, you know.
Yeah, it's a long time ago. But that's wild that you could find that. That's super cool.
It was not easy to find.
It's old. It's
But-
old, man.
Okay,
It was on-
so... Yeah, man. I think in general, I think that this drug is going to be a pretty important thing for me.
I think it's gonna be an important thing for everybody if it's relatively healthy down the road.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's my concern. That's Paige's concern too. And is that there's only about 20 years of studying this, and in the population that they've studied has been a population of people with diabetes.
Yeah.
So the correlations that are being made are people that already have a comorbidity.
I was told before I could not get on this because I'm not diabetic. Because I tried to, I called
for
in.
Ozempic. These drugs,
Oh, these are
Zepbound and
different.
Wegovy are rebranded as weight loss drugs. It's the
see.
same thing.
Oh, okay. They just
But
can't sell it. I gotcha.
You can't take Ozempic. You don't need Ozempic because
Right.
you're not diabetic.
Right, sure.
But Zepbound and Wegovy and Moderna or whatever, those ones are rebranded as weight loss
I
drugs.
see.
But it's the
Okay.
same thing. It's just
Right.
rebranded.
I got you.
So there is a little high. It is a little more difficult to get approved for that for
Right.
just the weight loss. But if you have a chronic illness that's related to obesity,
Yeah.
you can get approved for it.
Yeah.
You know?
Did you have to have anything to get approved for it other than just being overweight?
I had
'Cause
my
I have
cholesterol. My cholesterol was elevated.
See, that's the problem. I don't have high cholesterol. I have nothing
and
wrong.
then my blood, urea, and nitrogen levels. Blood, urea, and nitrogen. I think it's nitrogen levels were very elevated.
Yeah.
So, but that's normally a marker of like kidney dysfunction. But I think I was dehydrated when I got my blood work done.
Probably,
So that's
yeah.
probably a lie.
So I don't have. I don't know. That's what I'm worried about. Is I think
It wasn't that hard. I didn't have to do anything
Yeah.
extra. It was just.
Well, I got a blood panel. I want to say not this past time, but the previous time I was at our our doctor we grew up with.
Mhm.
I still go to him.
I think he's kind of an idiot.
No, he's not. He's all right. I've had some pretty good conversations with him, specifically about obesity and being a bigger guy.
Okay, let me rephrase. I don't think he's an idiot. I think he's a little dismissive. I think he's kind of like, no, it's fine. And I don't, and a lot of the times you're like, dude.
He has been in the past.
Yeah.
But this last couple times I've seen him, he was really good. Like, I was like, I need to talk to you. I need to know about this and that.
So you have to intentionally slow him down.
Yeah, because he's super hyperactive. Like, when you go there, he just, like, hobbles in. And he's like, oh, hey, what's wrong? Cool. Here's the script. Bye. Right. And I'm like, no, I need to talk to you.
Yeah.
Like, I need to talk to you.
So you have to intentionally
slow
you have
him
to.
Down. And sometimes I get nervous to do that because I don't know why, but I was like, the last couple times, I'm like, look, I'm getting older. And like I said that to him. I'm like, look, you've been my doctor my entire life. I'm getting older, man, and I've been big. And I'm not going to lie, his response to that was like, look, every year we check your blood, we check your heart. Mm-hmm. You know, you've never had heart problems. Your blood pressure has never been bad. Actually, your blood pressure was worse when you were younger and in better shape because you smoked cigarettes and drank Monsters all day long.
Right.
He's like, you have phenomenal blood pressure. You have phenomenal blood work. Your cholesterol's never been elevated, even at your biggest. He's like, there's nothing I can do for you. He's like, just try to diet and try not to. If there's foods that you're sensitive to and that make you get fat, which specifically high palatable foods, right?
Yeah.
Then he's like, you're just going to have to like, you know, he's like, but also, you know, you've been up 100 pounds, 100 and something, 20 pounds, down 100 pounds. He's like, to be like halfway in between and then also like gravitate lower and higher or whatever. He's like, if you can find a way to trigger yourself to get lower, he's like, I just can't see myself putting you on meds. So like, I would probably have to go to another doctor to even, I mean, unless I really was like, look, I want to try it because like I'm getting older and I don't want to, you know, even though I look good. Well, the biggest concern that people have about, although there's mixed studies, because I've been reading a lot of shit about obesity, and it's like, it's not all what people think. And when things are discussed like as generic things in medicine, it's not because it's necessarily applicable to every single person, because everybody's different, right? Like a good example of that is like indigenous people of northern countries, right, have a very hard time not being obese, even eating just their natural foods. Certain Native American populations had a very hard time not being overweight, not obese, but overweight. Certain African tribes have a very hard time not being overweight and obese. So like there's African, you know, it's funny, we always see these like commercials and it's like a starving like there's a lot of African tribes, even without the implication of McDonald's and Burger King, that a lot of the people are obese. If they were here, we would call them obese. It's not.
That's part of what he talks about in the book too.
Yeah.
It's like the basis of BMI and that marker was based on all white people.
Yeah.
He's like, this is all white people in the 30s. So like you can't, like it's ignoring the fact that there's different body types out there. Like you want this like European.
Well, Europeans are tall and thin.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
Generically speaking.
Right. Yeah, you got this tall and thin body type, but like like the ectomorph, endomorph, that mesomorph, that's kind of bullshit.
It is bullshit.
But
100%.
But there is reality to the fact that like I'm not built like a Scandinavian. I'm fucking 5'10" and like as wide as I am tall. You know.
Well, even when I was at my lowest weight, my hips still look like birthing hips. My legs were still gigantic.
Fucking birthing hips.
I'm being honest.
Yeah,
it actually looked worse.
My shoulders,
it actually looked worse because
my
had no
shoulders
gut.
are fucking
Yeah, take away this gut. Imagine how goofy I'm gonna look.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Literally, my shoulders are it's like my shoulders are wide, my fucking hips are wide.
Yeah,
you know, but I don't know, man.
But we do need to get to a healthy weight. I mean, because
I'm getting scared. I mean, like I'm getting.
Well, you've had some scares also,
right? Which I think in reality are all based in anxiety and not actual issues, but.
Which I've also had that conversation with my doctor because I'm like, look, I don't want to die. I don't want to drop of a heart attack in 10 years.
Yeah.
Because you've been dismissive that I've been overweight my entire life.
Right. And it's real. And
he's like,
so like you're saying obesity doesn't cause
also like
a lot of issues, but it or maybe obesity is overinflated on like
that's the problem.
What it is, but the thing is that
it's not that it's
when a doctor looks at a BMI
and
he goes, look, your BMI is fucking 40.
Right.
if I look at you, I know you're not a fucking 300-pound bodybuilder who's like perfect.
Yeah.
Perfectly healthy. So like even though a BMI in general is flawed, the doctor who's looking at your BMI and going, "Oh, Matt's BMI is fucking 40."
Yeah, right.
Okay, is Matt a gigantic fucking jacked bodybuilder? No. Okay, well then Matt's fat. Now, what do we do about Matt being fat?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
That's so yes, BMIs in general are flawed, and calling someone obese, overweight, whatever is flawed. The reality of it is that someone who's looking at that marker is educated enough to go, all right, fucking Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Is 5'8" and 200 pounds of muscle.
Well, when I was
he's
at my
obese.
Right.
But they can look at him and go like he's healthy.
See, but this is, I think, so I've read some studies that talk about.
But I'm not as being obese.
Right. Okay, but it depends. That's the problem is that it depends, and the reason that doctors wouldn't take that risk of going, well, let's check this out and that out. I mean, obviously you had some blood markers that were like, okay, yeah, this guy can get on some drugs. Right. I'm just saying that, like, as someone who has never had a bad biomarker in his entire life, being a fat fuck, it's very hard. Like, people are surprised. When I moved to Orlando, new doctor, right? I go down there and she's like, dude, like, she walked in, she's like, look, and I was coming down from my heaviest at that point. And she comes in, she's like, you're going to die. And I go, okay. I know. I was like, I know. I gained a lot of, like, I know I gained a lot of, I'm trying to be active. I'm trying to eat healthy. I don't know I don't know if it's stress. And I'm like, was stress eating for a while. And the problem is I can gain weight so fast that, like, I could balloon up 100 pounds from even where I'm at now. And then it would take fucking 6 months to get them down. Like, I'm just saying, like, it's so easy for me to gain 30, 40, 50, fucking 60 pounds. So easy. And so I try to explain it to her. I'm like, look, like, I'm working on it. Like, I'm down actually like almost 20 pounds at this point.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, like, you need to get a will. We need to do blood work immediately. She does my blood work. Perfect. Nothing is elevated. My heart rate is perfect. My oxygen levels
I'd
are
like to
perfect.
get a methylation test.
And so, yeah, that might be a good idea too. But, and she looks at it and she's like, I've never seen this. Everybody that comes to me, I mean, you also think in Florida, like, honestly, if I would have stayed in Florida, I probably would have lost weight. It's fucking 100 degrees year round. And you go outside, you're sweating your ass off and everything's work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, just sweating doesn't do anything, but, you know,
Yeah.
like, if you're
But
able
you're
to be active
that's what I'm
all
saying.
year round,
I
it's
don't do
different.
shit in the winter. I can't. I hate
Yeah.
going outside. I even drive it. I'll go to the gym, but, like, even that sucks.
Well,
you
like,
get
as the Germans say, there's no such thing as bad weather. There's
Yeah.
only bad clothes.
That's fair. That is fair. It's
But-
a fair point, actually.
But yeah, I mean, but the thing is that
But if
the way that they're trained,
Yeah.
they're like, hey, this is not healthy. Whether you're
Right.
an anomaly or not is not how they're trained. They're
100%.
They're trained to go, look, dude.
And just because I'm an
and
anomaly now doesn't mean in 10
heavy-
years I would be.
At your heaviest, which was what, 360 pounds?
I don't know. I mean, I think
that's the number you said before.
so.
360.
Yeah, it was pretty big, man.
That there is not anyone who's 360 pounds and
Right.
and healthy.
Well, and then so Holowinski brought up this point.
Well, maybe not. Maybe in a moment, in a
Yeah.
flash of a pan. Whoa, your blood work's okay.
Yeah.
If you stayed 360 pounds for a decade,
Right.
you would be dead.
Well, this is the thing. Like, this is where it's weird. I went into middle school over 200 pounds. By the time I got to high school, I was in the mid to high 200s. And then after, it's been a fluctuation of 300, 220. 220 is like me working my ass off.
Yeah.
And so I talked to Holowinski about this, and he's like, even at your weight now, you are still like 50 pounds lighter than you were fucking 3 years ago.
Mm.
So he's like, the problem with people who gain a ton of weight or just are naturally big people, I'm a naturally big person. And I know I'm not saying I'm a certain body type because that's bullshit. I agree with that. I don't think that's real. But I think genetically, there's something deep ingrained in me that is like, oh, food, put it on. Food, put it on. Because that motherfucker's going to die in 3 months.
Well, that's what we were talking about.
I think that's what it is. I think that it's like the
your
body's
body
like,
has a new set point.
the body's like, not even just that. I think even when I was at a lower weight and I hadn't reached like even 300 pounds, I think there's a point in which the body's like, the body just starts to like store shit more and more and more and easier. And, you know, because my diet now versus when I was a fucking 20-year-old, I should have been 600 pounds then.
Yeah.
I mean, all I did was smoke weed and eat McDonald's.
Yeah.
The fuck you talking about? I mean, I'm
Yeah.
talking buying like 4 McDoubles at a time.
Yeah.
If I did that now, I'd be on my 600-pound life.
Right.
So when I talk to you guys about like, yeah, I binge, and I talked to this about Mom too, and I'm not making excuses because like I really need to be on something because I agree. I think I'm gonna go this route. I want to do a little research just so I can comfort myself going into it. But like I talked to Mom and I was like, I know you guys think like I'm bullshit when I say I'm dieting, but like to put it in perspective,
I don't think it's bullshit.
no, not bullshit. Let me rephrase. You guys think I binge a lot more than I talk about, but I don't. Like anytime I binge, I feel so guilty that I tell everybody to make myself accountable. Like I had fucking donuts this morning. You know what I mean? And a lot of them. And then this weekend, like this last 3 weeks, I've literally told everybody, like, yeah, dude, I've been eating like
shit.
Yeah, I ate like
But it's okay, but this is
Yeah.
I don't think that you lie.
Yeah.
I think the reality of it is that I think the binging or the overeating that does happen is such a step back that it takes weeks to recover from it.
I think so too. I think it's because I think
so.
it's
Even though
because
the vast majority is like I'm eating vegetables, I'm eating hummus, I'm doing pretty good. It's like, dude, you have to do that perfectly forever.
Yes.
You can't binge.
I can't. My body will not.
Uncle Dave has said a few different times, I could eat a piece of toast and live on it for 3 days.
Right.
One slice of toast.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about our bodies. Our bodies are just so
That's true.
efficient that I could eat a piece of toast and live on it for days.
I've gone a week without food before. Like just like, all right, I need to diet, and then I get in this like zone of eating like high fibers foods.
Yeah.
And then I have no appetite at all. And I've gone like a week without food with no problem. But if I go from eating a normal diet, like a normal American diet, and go without food, I feel like I'm dying inside. My brain doesn't work. I don't sleep. My body's like, you need food now. You need food now. So it's like, there is something weird about us, man.
Yeah. Speaking of food, let's go get some Jack and Diane's.
I'm not hungry, dude.
I'm going to get some vegan food. That sounds.
We
so
should
good
cut
right
it.
now.
We should cut it out. We've been talking for a hot minute though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm cold and I want some fucking vegan food.
All right, man.
Fuck yeah.
Cool.
All right. Oh, peace. That was kind of an abrupt stop, but whatever. I'm over it. Like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah.
Purpose is not survival. It's finding purpose in what you love. I'm pumped to be branching out and being like, hey, we're going to sit down and have a couple-hour podcast. Is it?
Is it, dude?
Jesus Christ.
Just like talked for 5 minutes. I'm like, is it though? I've always been inspired by this shit.
Yeah. Dude, that pizza was so greasy.
It was disgusting.
It was not disgusting.
Disgusting. Good times, Noodle Salad.